Chapter 63. Still loving her the same. Sophia blushed at Chloe's blunt teasing. She shot her a glare, half annoyed and half embarrassed. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Chloe giggled, not taking the hint. "Well, you were still going on blind dates at the beginning of the month, right? Even if you hit it off instantly with someone, you've only known them for what, like a month tops? No way it progressed that fast." Sophia went silent. Could she just drop the bomb that she'd already signed the marriage certificate and even spent the night in the same bed with the guy? Seeing the amused look on Chloe's face, Sophia sighed and shook her head. Forget it. This girl couldn't keep anything under wraps. If she told her, the whole office would know she had a flash marriage by noon. Meanwhile, after the deal between Chuangxin and Shengxi was finalized, it was all over the news before Jonathan Bennett, way over in Linjiang City, even heard a word of it. He immediately picked up his phone and dialed Oliver. "Oliver Bennett, what the hell were you doing? Before heading to Lixin City, you swore to me you'd nail this deal with Shengxi. Now look what happened. You tell me what went wrong." When the call came through, Oliver was still in his hotel room at Anran Hotel in Lixin. He'd been waiting for calls ever since the news broke, just didn't expect his dad's to be the first. Adjusting his glasses, he said calmly, "Dad, this one's on me. I screwed it up." The anger in Jonathan's voice was about to erupt, but Oliver's unexpected admittance put a lid on it instantly. "Dad, the person behind Chuangxin this time was Nathaniel Connor." "What?" Jonathan's eyes widened. "You're telling me it was him?" This was not something he'd seen coming. It had been 2 years since Oliver's engagement to Natalie Connor, so Jonathan knew the Connor family inside and out. After Natalie's older sister passed, the Connors only had 5 kids left. Their father, Nathan Connor, was the traditional type. He'd never hand over the company to the girls, Natalie and her sister Hannah. That left 3 possible successors: the eldest, Nathaniel, the middle one, Ian, and the youngest, Ryan. But Ryan was just 4 years old, way too young to be a contender. Ian, a total rich kid stereotype, spoiled, entitled, and frankly hopeless. Put next to Nathaniel, the gap was night and day. At 18, Nathaniel already had dual master's degrees in finance and economics from Harvard. 10 years ago, right after his sister's death, he flew back from the States and took over the company she had built from scratch, completely blew everyone away with his business instincts. In just 3 years, he multiplied the company's value tenfold. Then, 7 years ago, when the profits were at their peak, he sold off the company. At the time, people whispered he was a fool. But half a year later, the financial crisis hit, and suddenly that call looked like pure genius. So really, it was almost certain that Nathaniel would be handed the reins of the Connor Group. Losing to a guy like Nathaniel, hard to blame him. That day, during the site visit at Shengxi, the moment he ran into Nathaniel, Oliver had a gut feeling this wouldn't end well. The result stung, sure, but with Nathaniel involved, defeat wasn't shocking, it was expected. What puzzled him was, why would someone like Nathaniel personally get involved in a regular acquisition case like this? "Dad, I'm sorry." Jonathan Bennett didn't speak for a long while. After what felt like forever, he finally opened his mouth. Nathaniel Connor stepped in himself. Losing to him makes sense. "But Oliver, this deal was a test from Mr. Connor. Now that you've failed, what's your backup plan?" Oliver had known from day one that Innovation Group was in the game. And of course, as the head of the Connor family, Nathaniel's father was in the loop. Everyone also knew he loved Natalie to bits and had never been happy with Oliver as a potential son-in-law. This merger was both a challenge and a shot at proving himself. That's exactly why he'd gone all in. But now, he failed. Staring out at the traffic outside, Oliver's grip on his phone tightened. "Oliver, the Bennett family's future rests on your shoulders." "I get it. The Bennett family was already on the decline. They absolutely couldn't mess up this marriage alliance with the Connors. Now that this merger's a bust, don't waste any more time in Lixin City. Get yourself back to Linjiang ASAP. Natalie's been asking non-stop when you're coming back. Nathaniel adores that girl. If she's on board, the wedding will go through without a hitch." A bitter smile tugged at Oliver's lips. Of course he understood all that. And sure, the sooner he got back to Linjiang, the better it'd be for him. But then came Sophia. 2 years. He'd spent 2 whole years forcing himself to stay away from her, to not ask about her, not even give himself a chance to miss her. He kept telling himself they'd never have a future again. But despite all that, when they crossed paths again, his heart didn't stand a chance. He thought time would dull it, that he'd moved on. But just seeing her again made it painfully clear that his feelings had never really faded. 5 years of loving her. She was etched into his soul. No matter how much he tried to lie to himself, he had to face it now. He still loved her exactly the same way as before. Dad, I ran into Sophia. Sophia Williams? Jonathan's tone turned sharp and thunderous. Oliver Bennett, don't you dare tell me you're still stuck in Lixon because of that woman. Dad, what happened 2 years ago wasn't all Sophia's fault. Enough. You seriously have the nerve to bring up those 2 years again? After what happened, the entire city turned our family into a joke. Not her fault? Then who do you want me to blame? You humiliated your mother and me. If not for that, our business wouldn't be hanging by a thread. Dad, she was a victim too. You can't pin everything on her. Shut it. How dare you keep standing up for her? Ever since that scandal, your mom doesn't even meet up with friends anymore. Do you have any idea how many times I've had to put up with our business partners snickering behind our backs? I can't even count the moments I wanted to disappear into the ground. Oliver rubbed at his tired eyes, looking completely drained. Dad, Oliver Bennett, I'm warning you. Forget that woman. Starting now, focus only on Natalie. She's everything you could ask for. Rich, pretty, maybe a bit spoiled, but fiercely loyal and honestly head over heels for you. Do you even get how many big-name heirs she turned down for your sake? Always worried if you're okay, never acting high and mighty. What more do you want? Sophia, not another word about her. Let me make myself perfectly clear. As long as your mom and I are still breathing, there's no chance we'll let you get back with that woman. Dad, enough! You're coming home from Lixon right this second. If you don't, your mom and I will officially cut ties. Don't bother calling us your parents. Chapter 64, Don't Like It Anymore. As work was wrapping up for the day, the mood in the office was especially lively. It was the last day of April, and with the May Day holiday starting tomorrow, everyone was buzzing about where to go for a getaway. Editor-in-Chief, are you planning a trip? Nope. Sophia Williams shook her head without hesitation. Too many people traveling during the holiday. I'd rather chill at home with Charlie and binge some shows. Chloe Carter gave her a disapproving look. Seriously, you're such a homebody. Holidays are all about soaking in the bustle. How about a quick international trip? Travel and grab some deals. Sophia spread her hands with a resigned smile. Too broke. Chloe, she wasn't joking either. Sophia really was low on cash. Her salary was decent, sure, but her expenses, through the roof. She hadn't given up her Moon Bay apartment, so rent still came knocking every month. With warmer weather, she'd stocked up on summer clothes. And now that Mrs. Reed had gone back to Linjiang, she was covering all household costs too. Nathaniel Connor had standards, crazy high standards. Every day someone delivered fresh organic produce and meats to them. He loved seafood, and that meant imported, air-freighted stuff, pricey as hell. Oh, and don't forget the villa's management fees. She used to envy those who owned villas, but after forking out one payment herself, she could only think, never again. In a word, expensive. In 2 words, outrageously expensive. Long story short, rich people's lifestyles, all fueled by money. And Sophia? Dead broke. She barely had 500 yuan left to her name. Sure, Nathaniel had given her a bank card loaded with cash, but the balance was so scary she didn't dare touch a cent. Ugh, 10 days till payday. How was she going to survive until then? The more she thought about it, the more annoyed she got. Whatever. She waved it off dramatically. Let the universe figure it out. She'd rather focus on which dramas to catch up on during the break. Half an hour later, just as she was focusing on a task, her phone started buzzing. The number on the screen made her eyes darken slightly. She pressed her lips together and stared at the phone for a long moment before picking it up. But the ringtone rang on stubbornly, attracting glances from everyone in the editorial department. Sorry, she muttered, standing up and walking to a quiet corner to answer. What do you want? Sophia, can we meet? I'm busy. I know you're almost done with work. I'm leaving Lixon soon, and there's something I need to tell you before I go, Oliver Bennett said. Her voice dropped into a warning tone. We've said everything that needs to be said. There's no reason for us to talk anymore. I'm not trying to push you, but don't push me either. You have to come. Sophia let out a cold laugh. Why should I? Because if you don't, I'll come to your office. Her jaw clenched, veins twitching at her temple from pure irritation. She didn't answer for a moment. Oliver Bennett, what the hell are you trying to pull? I just want one honest conversation, that's all. She went quiet. He didn't rush her, just waited patiently. Eventually, she caved. The last thing she needed was for Oliver Bennett to show up at her office. Or worse, run into Nathaniel. Time and place. After work, it was officially announced the long weekend had officially started. Sophia packed up, then shot a message to Nathaniel on WeChat. You head home first, I've got some stuff to deal with. I'll be back soon. Half an hour later, Sophia arrived at the coffee shop Oliver had picked. Summer days always seemed to stretch on forever. It was just past 6 in the evening, and the sky was still bright. The setting sun cast a warm glow over the cafe. Sophia crossed the street, looked up, and saw Oliver Bennett by the second-floor window in a crisp white shirt. He noticed her too, and gave her a smile and a wave. She paused, slightly dazed. This moment brought back memories. College days, when Oliver was her senior. Back then, after they started dating, they'd often go study at the library. He always grabbed a window seat for her upstairs, dressed the same as now, in a white shirt, waving at her from afar with that gentle smile. But now, Sophia lowered her eyes, gripped her bag, and stepped into the cafe. By the time she reached Oliver, he'd already ordered for her. When she sat down, he pushed the food toward her. Your favorites, brown sugar milk tea and matcha cake. Sophia chuckled. Yep, those were her favorites, back then. I'm pretty stubborn. Once I liked something, I'd just stick to it. I used to think nothing beat brown sugar milk tea, but turns out I was wrong. It's been 2 years. People change. I don't like it anymore. Now I'm more into fresh orange juice. Without sparing a glance at Oliver's sour expression, she moved the plate aside and called the waiter. 1 fresh orange juice, please. Of course, just a moment. Once the waiter left, Sophia looked at Oliver and cut straight to the point. I don't have much time. Say whatever it is you want to say. Are you really that cold to me? Yes, she said plainly. I thought I made that pretty clear. Sophia, my boyfriend doesn't cook. I need to get back and make dinner. So again, talk fast. He froze. She actually had a boyfriend? You're serious about this guy? Yes. What, you thought I'd stay single forever, clinging to a crappy memory? You're giving yourself way too much credit. Sophia, don't be like this just to mess with me. She blinked. Did he seriously think she got into a relationship just to piss him off? Oliver, being self-absorbed is one thing, but you're pushing it. Can you stop using the word boyfriend to rub it in? I'm just stating facts. Just then the juice arrived. She took a sip. The tangy sweetness felt 1,000 times better than the bitter aftertaste of brown sugar milk tea. Oliver inhaled sharply, grabbed his glass of ice water, and downed it in one go to keep his temper in check. But that didn't work. The frustration still boiled over. Bang, he slammed the glass onto the table. Noticing Sophia look over, he couldn't help but jab, What, you cooking Sichuan food for your new guy now? Sophia clenched her glass, silent for a long moment. Sichuan food. Back then she couldn't cook at all, and Oliver never asked her to. But knowing how much he loved Sichuan cuisine, she secretly enrolled in a cooking class just to learn it for him. After more than a year, she mastered it. Her plan was to surprise him after they got married. But before that day came, she left Linjiang 2 years ago. By then, she could cook like a pro, but he never got to taste a single dish. Clearly, today's comment was meant to sting. Sophia, you think that guy you're with now would still love your food if he knew the real reason you learned to cook? Chapter 65, Back Together? What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Oliver looked all smug when he saw Sophia's face darken, like he'd just scored a win. He reached out and grabbed her hand, his expression serious. Sophia, come on, stop being mad at me, will you? I know you hate me, but what was I supposed to do back then? It's been 2 years already. Can't we just move past it? Let it go? Keep dreaming. Sophia yanked her hand out of his grip, eyes burning red. How was she supposed to just let it go? 2 years ago, just 3 days before they were supposed to get engaged, she was kidnapped, drugged, and assaulted. When she woke up, she was all alone in a strange hotel room. That helplessness, that despair, it nearly broke her. She felt so guilty, convinced she'd let Oliver down. The first thing she did when she got out was go straight to his place and tell him everything. She even suggested calling off the engagement. And then, Sophia covered her face, her eyes brimming with tears. Then what happened? At first, Oliver looked pale like he'd just taken a punch. But in the end, he just pulled her into this tight hug, saying stuff to comfort her, words she still remembered so clearly. Sophia, this isn't your fault. It's mine. I should have picked you up from work. I shouldn't have let you go home alone. I screwed up. I didn't protect you. You have every right to hate me. You're not mad at me? He hugged her even tighter. I am. Any guy would be. I love you, and that's why it hurts. But because I love you, losing you would hurt even more. So don't ever talk about breaking it off again. I won't let you go. The wedding is set. We're supposed to grow old together. Let's pretend it never happened, okay? Sophia could still feel the emotional storm from that moment, guilt mixed with heart-shattering gratitude. She broke down in his arms, crying like crazy. Later that night, when she told her grandparents what happened, her grandpa just held her hand and said, "You found a good one. Don't let him go." And so, they went on with the wedding. But then, everything went to hell. They were standing on a platform, crystal screen behind them. After exchanging rings, the screen started playing what was supposed to be their love story, how they met, how they fell in love. Sophia squeezed her eyes shut, heart clenched. Because the edited video had been replaced by footage of her at the hotel, drugged and assaulted. On screen, she was tangled up on a hotel bed with some guy, the video so carefully edited that you could clearly see her face, while the man's voice was messed with and his face pixelated. The wedding instantly turned into chaos. Guests who'd just been smiling and clapping were now whispering, pointing fingers. Then came the shouting, the insults, the furious interrogation from Oliver's parents. She instantly became a complete joke to everyone, someone to be spit on and shamed. Food went flying. Fruit, champagne, red wine, all of it hurled at her, hitting her one after another. Her white wedding dress, once a symbol of purity, was splattered with color, stained like the pieces of her shattered heart, colorful, twisted, and terribly broken. When everyone else was hurling insults at her, she held on to a sliver of hope, hoping Oliver Bennett would shield her, stand by her side. But he didn't. The man who once claimed to love her, who had promised a lifetime, chose instead to act like the others. Not only did he deny ever knowing about what had happened to her, he joined the crowd, throwing words at her that cut deeper than any wound. That moment froze her heart solid. His merciless betrayal pushed her grandfather over the edge. The man who had always protected her couldn't tolerate Oliver's cruelty and lashed out in anger, only to be repaid with even nastier mockery. It was too much. Her grandfather collapsed from a heart attack, and even after being rushed to the hospital, he never made it back. Snapping out of the memory, tears welled up and spilled from Sophia Williams' eyes. She stared at Oliver with thinly veiled contempt. That kind of past, you didn't just move on from that. Did he think just saying it made it easy? Oliver, do you know what I feel when I see you now? Disgust. Her voice was sharp, eyes ice cold. Move on? What a joke. If you can bring my grandpa back, maybe, just maybe, I'd consider it. Back then, if he had simply said he couldn't handle the truth and wanted to call off the wedding, it would have hurt like hell, but at least she'd have understood. But what did he do? He lifted her high with promises and dreams, then smashed her down himself, grinding her into the dirt without even blinking. Sophia, it was my fault, all of it, Oliver murmured, clearly shaken as tears ran down her face. He reached out to wipe them away, but she jerked her head to the side before he could touch her. His hand dropped uselessly. Sophia, I didn't mean to. Hearing it and seeing that video, it's not the same. It killed me inside. I love you. I really do. When I saw that, She wiped her tears away with a cold, steady hand and shot him a glare sharp enough to cut. There were so many people watching that night, it all spiraled out of control. If I had defended you, my parents would have lost it, he tried to explain. Right, Sophia sneered. So you just joined the crowd, right? Played the perfect victim while throwing me under the bus. You put us right at the center of everyone's judgment. My grandfather died because of that. He bowed his head. I'm sorry. Sorry, she nearly snapped. A man's life, and your apology is supposed to fix that? Every time I see your face, I remember my grandpa. He died with his eyes open. He couldn't even rest in peace. If I had a choice, I'd rather never have met you. Oliver gritted his teeth, clearly on the edge. I know no matter what I say now, you won't forgive me. But Sophia, hit me, yell at me. Do whatever you need to. I just want you to let it out. It's been 2 years. Can we please step out of the past? Let's not keep punishing each other. Can we just try again? Try again? Sophia blinked, utterly shocked. Sophia, these 2 years, I thought I'd gotten over you. But the second I saw you at Wanqing Plaza, I knew. I never did. We were together 5 years, over 1,000 days and nights. My love for you runs deep. Please, let's forget what happened and start over. Where did this man get the nerve to think that just because he remembered her, they had a chance? Sophia laughed, sharp, bitter, and stood up straight. If this is what you came to say, then we really have nothing to talk about. I'd rather stay single forever than have anything to do with you again. We loved each other for 5 years. You really have zero feelings for me now? Oliver looked at her desperately. Just say it to my face. You really don't care about me at all? Chapter 66, The Mistress. Sophia came to a brief halt. She turned back. Oliver was looking at her with such eager eyes, like he was hanging on to her every move. She curled her lips slightly. Feelings? Of course I have some. Oliver's eyes brightened immediately, and he was just about to say something when Sophia's next words slammed into him like a punch to the gut. Too bad those feelings aren't love, they're hate. Sophia, before he could finish, she'd already turned around and walked off without hesitation. There was nothing left to say between them. From the moment she left Linjiang City 2 years ago, they were done. No, worse than strangers. Oliver just stood there in shock, watching until her figure disappeared around the staircase. Only then did he snap out of it and rush out without a second thought. Sir, you haven't paid, a server called after him. Oliver quickly shoved a 100 yuan bill into the server's hand. Keep the change. Then he sprinted out the door like the building was on fire. There was still so much he hadn't told her. If he didn't say it now, who knew when he'd get another chance? Outside, Sophia was standing near the road, waiting for a cab. The second he saw her, Oliver darted over. Sophia! Oh, for God's sake, Oliver, can you not follow me around like a ghost? She said without even turning to look at him, voice full of irritation. Can we just pretend we don't know each other? No, he replied flatly. Sophia, please just hear me out. He grabbed her wrist like he was afraid she might vanish any second. Let go. Sophia struggled, but he held on tight. No matter how much she wriggled, his grip didn't budge. She was furious. What the hell do you even want? Just let me finish talking, okay? She took a deep breath. Fine, talk. I'm listening. Still not daring to release her, Oliver looked into her eyes. If there's hate, that means there's still love, Sophia. I know you still have feelings for me. We both can't let go, so why keep torturing ourselves like this? I realize how wrong I was. I know I hurt you badly back then, but we still care about each other. We've already wasted 2 years. How many more years do we have to waste? Let's try again, okay? Sophia pressed her lips together, refusing to even give him a response. Is that all? Sophia, can you let go now? No, his tone was firm. Only if you say yes. Seriously? She sneered. You really want to get back together, huh? Yes. Then what about your parents? What about your fiancé? Her words gave him hope again. He thought she was actually considering it. Don't worry, I'll handle it. How exactly? I'll talk to my parents. I'm their only child. They'll come around eventually. If I insist, they'll accept you back. Sophia let out a sharp laugh. And what about your fiancé? Didn't you work your butt off just to get into Linjiang's elite circle? You're this close to making it. You really plan on throwing that away? This time, Oliver had no answer. He was silent for a long time. And that just made Sophia's smile even more sarcastic. Sophia, let me just be honest with you. The Bennett family hasn't been doing well since 2 years ago. Our business has gone downhill, and this recent acquisition I failed just made everything worse. If I call off the engagement now, my family's pretty much screwed. So, Sophia, can you wait for me? 5 years. No, 3. Just give me 3 years. I swear I'll break things off with Natalie and come back to marry you. Huh. So what you're asking is for me to be your secret lover for 3 years? No, wait. That makes me your side chick. Oliver knew how it sounded and quickly tried to explain. Sophia, I know it's unfair to you, but just this once. Can you bend for us? It's just 3 years, please. Pathetic doesn't even begin to cover it. Get lost. Sophia's expression instantly iced over. What? I said get lost. As far away from me as possible, Sophia. Taking advantage of his stunned pause, Sophia shoved him hard and backed away fast, putting distance between them. Stop making me sick, Oliver. I must have been blind to ever fall for someone as shameless and spineless as you. Even if you got on your knees now, I wouldn't give you a second look. Sophia, this is the last time I'm going to say it. I feel nothing but hate for you. And don't give me that where there's hate, there's love crap. I hate that you were the reason my grandpa died, and I'll never forgive you, ever. Also, I have a boyfriend now. I've moved on, so stop coming around and messing up my life. No way. Oliver's expression darkened. He stepped closer and Sophia instinctively moved back. Don't push me, Sophia. You know what I'm capable of when I'm cornered. What are you trying to do? If you don't want your boyfriend getting dragged into this, then do what I say, he warned. Sophia let out a low laugh. You really think you're a match for him? She wasn't underestimating Oliver. He honestly just wasn't in the same league as Nathaniel. Her smug confidence only made Oliver more pissed. He sneered, maybe your man's got skills and a decent background. But Sophia, do you know who my fiancé is? Natalie's from one of the top elite families in Linjiang. Their empire's worth billions. She'd do anything for me. If you don't agree to what I want, with just one move, I can crush him. Sophia's face went cold in a flash. You're disgusting, Oliver. You forced my hand. Think about it. Without me, do you really think your mom would be living so comfortably these past 2 years? Would your sister be a rising star in showbiz? One word from me and all that comes crashing down. He had completely hit her where it hurt most. You jerk! Sophia lost it and stormed up, slamming her purse into him over and over. You're a psycho, Oliver. Whatever you've got against me, bring it. But if you touch my mom, I swear I'll take you down with me. Oliver grabbed both her wrists tight, his face stone cold. I told you. You made me do this. He'd tried talking nicely and she shut him down. Now she had to deal with the ugly side. You've lost it. You're totally insane. And you drove me there, he snapped back. If only she'd played nice, he wouldn't have gone this far. He let go of her roughly, the cold flash of his frameless glasses catching the light. I'm staying in Lixin City for the next few days. You've got 3 days to think this through. I'll be waiting for your answer at Anran Hotel. Chapter 67. Furious for her. Sophia came home looking like a zombie, totally spaced out, eyes unfocused. You're back? It was already dark when she walked in, and the lights in the living room were all on. Nathaniel was in the kitchen, standing in front of the open fridge with a serious face like he was trying to solve some big mystery. His laptop was open on the counter, but it was too far away to see what it was showing. What are you doing? Nothing. Nathaniel slammed the fridge shut and quickly closed his laptop. James leaned in quietly and whispered, Mrs. Connor, the boss wanted to surprise you with dinner. He even looked up recipes. But, haha, turned out he had no clue what he was doing. He wanted to cook for her? Sophia, who had just barely pulled herself back together, felt her chest tighten again. She sniffled, casually tossed her bag onto the couch, walked into the kitchen, and said, What do you want to eat? I'll cook. Nathaniel was walking out with his laptop when he saw her at the door, and just one look froze him in place. Sophia looked like a mess. She'd obviously been crying hard, her eyes red and puffy, hair windswept into a tangle. That wasn't even the worst of it. Both her wrists were red and covered with finger-shaped bruises. He grabbed her wrist in a flash, voice low and shaking with anger. What the hell happened? Sophia flinched and instinctively tried to pull away, but his grip was too firm. Nathaniel, that hurts. Her voice was soft and fragile, full of hurt. Nathaniel finally loosened up, though his face stayed tense. Tell me what happened. I tripped, she mumbled, avoiding his eyes. A trip? That left finger marks? Nathaniel felt fury bubbling up, but kept his cool. His eyes got icy as he turned to James, who was messing around with Charlie in the living room. What are you standing there for? Go get the ice pack and first aid kit. James froze. Man, wrong day to be around. He gave Charlie a pat before hurrying off. No need, it'll fade in a bit. Don't talk. Nathaniel led her to the couch and made her sit down. James came back with the ice and medical kit, and Nathaniel wrapped the ice pack in a towel and gently pressed it to her wrist. Nathaniel, stop moving. Sophia's heart was a mess. Nathaniel really was the kindest person she'd ever met. He looked cold on the outside, but he was so attentive, he never put her on the spot. Even now, when she fed him a lie not even she could believe, he just let it slide. And thinking about the 3-day ultimatum Oliver gave her, her eyes welled up again. Nathaniel, I've got a business trip tomorrow. Huh? She'd spaced out again and didn't catch what he said. He took the ice pack away and started applying ointment gently with a cotton swab. Hearing her confusion, he said again, I'm leaving on a business trip tomorrow, but seeing you like this, how can I just go? I'm fine, she quickly said. Go do what you need to. Don't worry about me, I'll be okay. Nathaniel pressed his lips together. What she didn't see was the flash of pure frost that passed through his eyes. The cool ointment touched her wrist, and the burning pain eased up a lot right away. Sophia, you sure you don't want to tell me what happened today? Her lips parted slightly, as if she was about to say something, but then, nothing. She swallowed the words back down. Say it. How could she? Over the past 2 years, she hadn't gone digging for news about Oliver Bennett, but bits and pieces always found their way to her. Word was his fiancée came from an actual powerhouse family, top tier in all of Linjiang City. Meanwhile, the way things were for Nathaniel and his own family, let's be real, if he was really valued, he wouldn't have been handed some second-rate website to manage. If she told him Oliver was threatening her, that'd only make things worse for him. No real help, just more pressure. She gave a bitter smile and shook her head, her voice dull. I just tripped and fell, that's all. Nathaniel's gaze darkened. He stared at her for a long moment but didn't press. I'll be out of town for a few days this trip. You take good care of yourself at home, all right? Don't make me worry. Wait, didn't the acquisition wrap up already? Why another business trip? It's something else. Oh, okay. Nathaniel reached out and ruffled her hair gently. Your vacation starts tomorrow. Go hang out with some friends. Don't just mope around at home. I'll be back as soon as I can. She looked exhausted, and Nathaniel gently held her hand. I asked James to pick up dinner from the hotel. Go take a shower, then come down to eat. All right. He watched her head upstairs with soft eyes, only letting the warmth drop as soon as he heard her bedroom door click shut. Buddy and Charlie were still bustling around at his feet, but the moment he shot them a cold look, both little dogs gave a whimper, tails tucked, and ran off. James blinked. James, I'm here. He rushed over, not wanting to end up like Charlie. Find out who Sophia met with today. Now! When he got her message after work, he figured she was out shopping with a friend or something. Never thought she'd come back looking like that. You've got 30 minutes. Seriously? That's brutal. But Nathaniel's frosty glare made him shut up real quick. Then his eyes fell on Sophia's purse still on the couch. Sir, can I check her phone? Nathaniel said nothing. James quickly pulled out her phone and pressed the screen. Locked. 2 minutes to crack the code. James looked like he'd just been handed a death sentence, but didn't dare waste even a second. 2 minutes later, got it! He opened the phone, went straight to the call log, and paused when he saw a familiar number. His memory was sharp. He recognized that number immediately. He glanced at Nathaniel, who was now looking even colder. He clearly knew who it was, too. So it really was him, Nathaniel said with a snort. James shivered. Honestly, the boss smiling was scarier than any glare. Inviting her out was bad enough, but laying a hand on her, that crossed the line. Oliver Bennett. Perfect. Sir, call Lucas Carter. Tell him to blacklist the Bennett family. This was full-on rage for love mode. James nodded frantically. On it. And book me a flight back to Linjiang tomorrow. Back to Linjiang? I'm not going to let Oliver get away with this. Chapter 68, It Couldn't Be Anyone Else. By the time Sophia came downstairs after washing up, James had already brought dinner back. Come on, eat while it's hot. Okay. After the shower, she felt a bit more refreshed. Walking into the dining room with Nathaniel, she saw a table full of dishes. When James spotted the two of them, he immediately got to unwrapping the takeout. Spicy boiled fish, stir-fried river shrimp, chili chicken cubes, garlic lettuce. Everything was exactly what she liked, spicy and full of flavor. Her mood, which had just settled, started to waver again. One look at the table and she had to fight back the tears. She sniffled, trying hard to hold it together, and forced a smile at Nathaniel. If only she knew how forced that smile looked. Nathaniel said nothing, just pressed his lips into a thin line as he scooped a bowl of rice for her. Eat up. Yeah. Sophia sat down. The three of them ate in near silence that night. After the meal, James cleared the dishes while Nathaniel took her hand and led her upstairs. Want me to help pack your suitcase? The business trip had been a last-minute decision, so he hadn't packed yet. He nodded. Sure. They went into Nathaniel's room together. It was huge, probably about 50 square meters. Right next to the door was a full-wall closet. Sophia opened it, row after row of neatly hung clothes, every single piece belonging to him. Except for 2 sets of loungewear, it was all white shirts and black suits. Sophia opened the suitcase and started packing, folding one shirt after another, then matching them with ties and placing them carefully inside. Nathaniel stood right behind her, watching quietly. Somehow, just seeing her do all this made him feel strangely at peace. How many days will you be gone this time? 2 or 3. Okay. She grabbed 6 pairs of socks from one drawer, then 6 pairs of underwear from another. Her cheeks flushed when she held the underwear, quickly stuffing them into a zip bag without a word. Nathaniel had always been a neat freak, especially in summer when he couldn't stand being sweaty and showered like 3 times a day. So when it came to socks and underwear, she packed extras, just in case. All done. She zipped up the suitcase and rolled it aside. Nathaniel waved her over. Come sit. Without hesitation, Sophia sat down beside him. Up close, she caught that calming scent of camellia on him. She shut her eyes and leaned against his shoulder. This was the second time she'd taken the initiative to get close. Sophia, she noticed something. Whenever Nathaniel got serious, he always called her by name. Normally, he preferred to call her Mrs. Connor. Her eyes started to sting. She tilted her head slightly and looked right at him. Do you really have to leave tomorrow? What's wrong? Nothing. She clenched his sleeve tightly, head lowered, staying quiet for a long time. She just didn't want him to go. Oliver had only given her 3 days. If Nathaniel went away for that long too, who knew what things would be like when he got back? Sophia, he cupped her face in both hands, staring into her eyes. Don't overthink it. Whatever it is, I'll handle it. If only life were that simple. That bitter smile crept up again. Don't smile like that, he said as his fingers brushed the corner of her lips, voice firm but affectionate. My wife only needs to smile when she's happy, when she feels good, when she's truly content. Sophia couldn't help but laugh, a little helplessly. She leaned against his shoulder and spoke softly, full of concern. When you're away, don't push yourself too hard, okay? Try to finish things during the day and avoid staying up all night if you can. Got it. And eat properly, don't just drink alcohol. I know some meetings can't be avoided, but drink as little as possible, all right? Booze is really bad for your health. Okay, truth be told, with Nathaniel's status, there weren't many who dared pressure him into drinking anymore. Still, hearing her fuss over him so carefully made him feel surprisingly peaceful. And also, Mrs. Connor, Nathaniel interrupted her with a grin. I'm just going on a business trip, not heading off to war. Don't make it sound so tragic. Sophia felt her nose sting, blinking fast, fake annoyed as she glared at him. I only said a few things, now you think I'm nagging? Silly girl, how could I ever think that? He gave her nose a gentle squeeze. I just don't want you to worry so much. I'll be fine, really. She tilted her head back, looking up at him. In his eyes, she could clearly see that soft tenderness, that pampering warmth. And in that moment, there was no denying it. No woman could resist this kind of gentleness. No woman could not fall for a man like Nathaniel Connor. Yeah, fall for him. It had only been a month, and somehow, Sophia realized she had already started falling for him. She hadn't noticed it before. But after what Oliver Bennett said that afternoon, it hit her. She'd gotten used to this life, used to seeing him reading the newspaper every morning, used to hearing him call her Mrs. Connor, used to coming home to him after work every day. And when Oliver mentioned there were only 3 days left, the thought that crushed her most was having to say goodbye to Nathaniel. After all these years, she had finally gotten used to having someone by her side, and finally, after so long, she actually liked someone. She sniffled, tried to sound casual, but still ended up asking, "Nathaniel, if you had married someone else, would you be this kind to her too?" No way. He shook his head without missing a beat. "It wouldn't be anyone else." "Huh? It could only ever be you." Sophia stared at him, confused, and he just smiled gently, ruffling her hair. He didn't explain further. She had no idea how long he had waited for her, and even less of a clue about how deep his feelings went. "Nathaniel." "Yeah? Hug me." He didn't hesitate. Wrapping her into his arms, he held her close. He didn't know exactly what Oliver had said to throw her off like this, even more anxious than usual, but whatever it was, he'd handle it. But as they hugged, something felt off. Nathaniel sharply inhaled and grabbed her hand, frowning. "Sophia, what are you doing?" Her eyes were watery, cheeks flushed bright pink. Her hand, cool and a little sweaty from nerves, had landed right on his firm chest. Nathaniel's breathing quickened, every nerve tense. She stammered. Nathaniel was already on edge around her. Now she was actually making a move. "Sophia," she suddenly steeled herself. Without looking at him, she threw herself forward, pinning him down, eyes squeezed shut like she was bracing for impact. One thought kept repeating in her head. Maybe tonight was their last chance to be alone. He had treated her so well. She wanted to give something back. So forget modesty, forget shyness. She shut her eyes tight and forced the words out like she was jumping off a cliff. "Nathaniel, just take me." Chapter 69, I Think I Like You. As soon as Sophia finished speaking, she shut her eyes tight. It felt like time hit pause. 1 second, 2 seconds. God knows how long passed, but Nathaniel underneath her didn't move or say a word. Sophia's scalp tingled and she cracked one eye open just a tad, and saw Nathaniel, still pinned beneath her, staring dead serious at the doorway. Wait, doorway? With her neck stiff, Sophia slowly turned her head, and there stood James. The door was wide open, and James was frozen in place, eyes practically popping out of his head. Sophia's face flushed bright red in an instant. James blinked a few times, finally catching on. He slapped his forehead and blurted out, I'm sleepwalking! I totally sleepwalked in! I didn't see anything! Seriously, you two carry on." Just like that, he bolted out of there. Dear God, who would have thought their usually quiet and proper madam had such a wild side? Dang! Should he tell the old master and madam back in Linjiang about this? Maybe give them a heads up they might be getting a great-grandkid soon. Sophia's neck was frozen, and her whole body had gone stiff. She didn't dare to look at Nathaniel. For a good while. Ahem. Nathaniel cleared his throat gently. Sophia stayed put. Not a move. "Mrs. Connor, as lovely as this whole situation is, if you don't get up soon, my back's really not going to recover." Boom! A wave of heat shot straight to her head. Even her ears and neck turned tomato red. She scrambled off him way too fast, and in the rush, her knee accidentally whacked that very sensitive area. Nathaniel sucked in a sharp breath, clearly in pain. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Does it hurt?" "What do you think?" he hissed through gritted teeth. Without thinking, Sophia blurted out, "Should I, massage it for you?" Nathaniel, what the heck was she talking about? Sophia wanted to vanish on the spot. She could hide in his suitcase right now and never come out. She freaked, rolled off the bed, and darted toward her room without a second thought. So, freaking, embarrassing. This had to be the single most humiliating moment of her entire life. She hadn't even made it 2 steps when something yanked her wrist back. She looked down. Nathaniel had grabbed her. "I swear I didn't mean to, really, you silly girl." With one quick tug, he pulled her straight into his arms, her head buried into his chest. It was warm and safe, but still, she was mortified and didn't dare look up. "Sophia? What?" Nathaniel chuckled. "Where'd all that gutsy energy of yours go, huh?" She said nothing, face red as a beet. Her bravery? Yeah, that was gone, poof, just like a popped balloon. There'd been air, and now, nothing. Silly girl, stuff like this, it's the guy who should make the first move, you know? Wait, what? Her heart nearly leapt out of her throat. Nathaniel caught how red her ears and neck were, and something soft and warm stirred in his chest for her. But he held himself back and added, teasing, But what? But I don't think the time is right yet. Immediately that knot in her chest, whether it had been nervous excitement or expectation, deflated. She didn't know if she was sighing in relief or just kind of disappointed. You've been off tonight. I want this to happen when it feels right, when it's real love pushing us together, not just some awkward moment. That caught Sophia off guard. Then slowly her heart filled with a warm, soft feeling. If it were any other guy, having a gorgeous woman like her fall into his arms like that, who'd even care about the reason? She could clearly feel the tension in his muscles, yet he still put her feelings first. No matter how hard it was for him to hold back, he didn't take advantage. Sophia looked up at him, her eyes glistening with tears. Nathan, don't be so nice to me. You're my wife, Mrs. Connor. If I'm not good to you, then who else should I be good to? But you being like this, I might get addicted. Nathan burst out laughing. That's exactly what I want. That way you won't ever want to leave me. And honestly, she felt like she couldn't leave him already. All right, stop blushing. Go wash up and get some rest. Okay. Sophia turned to head out. Where do you think you're going? Nathan grabbed her wrist. To bed? Right here. Sophia. Here? She'd already embarrassed herself enough today. How was she supposed to face him now? I was thinking of sleeping with Charlie tonight. Charlie's with Buddy. Those two are practically glued to each other. You sure you want to split them up? Nathan raised an eyebrow. Tonight, you sleep here, with me. But relax, I'm not as aggressive as you are. Boom. The faint blush she had just calmed down came rushing back, hotter than ever. Not daring to look at him again, she darted into the bathroom to wash up. Everything settled. Sophia and Nathan lay on the big bed, enjoying this rare kind of quiet peace. What surprised Sophia was how natural it felt being close to Nathan. Lying on his arm like this, she didn't feel anxious or suffocated like before. 2 years ago, when she left Linjiang, she thought that was it for her. Never in her wildest dreams did she imagine someone like Nathan would walk into her life. She hugged his waist gently and whispered in her heart, Nathan Connor, thank you for being in my life. Ever thought about taking a trip somewhere? He asked. Huh? May Day's coming up, he said, casually playing with her hair. We've got 7 days off from work. Thought maybe you wanted to get away for a bit? Sophia shook her head. I love sightseeing, but not when it's flooded with people, and every popular spot's going to be packed during the holidays. Nathan nodded slowly, hesitated for a second, then added, Would you consider going back to Linjiang with me? Linjiang. Her whole body tensed for just a moment. It's okay, really. If you're not ready, we don't have to. You're heading to Linjiang for your business trip tomorrow, right? Yeah. Sophia paused. Linjiang was a place that filled her with both dread and longing, but she just wasn't ready yet. Also, Oliver Bennett and his 3-day promise still lingered in her mind. After thinking it over, she shook her head. Let's wait a bit. Once you've wrapped up the work in Lixin, then maybe I'll go with you. A thought flashed in her heart. If we're still together, then. Sure, Nathan said without pushing her. He reached over and gently ruffled her hair. Nathan Connor! Sophia tilted her head up, covering her hair with both hands. I'm not Charlie, okay? And yet, he was more reluctant to touch Charlie. Nathan chuckled and gave her hair another 2 pats before letting go. They ended up chatting for ages. Who knows how late it was, but Sophia was yawning non-stop. Time to sleep. Her eyelids were already halfway closed as she snuggled into his arm and mumbled, Nathan, there's something I've probably never told you. While pulling the blanket over her, he asked casually, What? I think I might like you. Nathan froze. He glanced down, ready to respond, only to find her already sound asleep, still holding tightly onto his arm. She was out cold, mouth slightly open, a tiny line of drool wetting the sleeve of his shirt. Nathan. Chapter 70. Missing You Already. Early the next morning, Nathaniel Connor and James Reed were already out the door. Sophia Williams was still half asleep when she felt Nathaniel whisper something softly in her ear and press a gentle kiss on her forehead before leaving. By the time she woke up completely, the room was empty. The other side of the bed had gone cold. She sighed and gave herself a light smack on the forehead. Ugh, why did I sleep so deep? She had planned the night before to get up early and make breakfast for Nathaniel. Now, that plan totally flopped. Sophia sighed, dragged herself out of bed, and went to freshen up. After getting everything sorted, she glanced at the clock. It was only 8:30. She headed downstairs, her eyes involuntarily drifting toward the couch in the living room. Empty. No Nathaniel in sight. Man, getting used to someone is scary. As she walked down the stairs, Charlie and Buddy were munching their kibble in the corner. The moment Charlie saw her, he yapped excitedly and scampered over, rubbing up against her ankles affectionately. Buddy, on the other hand, just chilled and watched from a distance. Sophia smiled. Yep, totally obvious who raised who. Charlie stuck to her like glue, while Buddy clearly had a soft spot for Nathaniel. Whenever he saw Nathaniel, he'd trot over to beg for attention. Woof woof, my sweet little guy. She scooped Charlie up and scratched his head. He melted in her arms, happy as ever. After a bit of cuddling, Charlie gave her a nudge, wanting to get down again. Once on the ground, he waddled back to Buddy and kept eating. Sophia rubbed her growling stomach. She was starving. But cooking for one just felt like such a drag. She was about to just boil some noodles and call it a day when the doorbell suddenly rang. Huh? Who could that be this early? She walked over, the sun already blazing hot outside even though it wasn't quite 9 yet. She jogged to the front door quickly. Are you Mrs. Connor? Yes, that's me. Here's the breakfast you ordered. Wait, what? Are you sure? I didn't order anything. Is your number 186XXXX? Yeah, it is. Then it's definitely yours, the delivery guy said, handing her a food box. It was scheduled around 8 a.m., with a note asking the delivery to be delayed till 9. Sophia took the box, eyebrows raised. There it was, the logo of Anran Hotel printed clearly on the packaging. She looked at the guy again. Yup, he was wearing the hotel's uniform too. Anran Hotel? Don't tell me. Nathaniel? Enjoy your meal. Thanks. Sophia brought the box back into the living room. The house had central air, so as soon as she stepped inside, the heat disappeared. She quickly grabbed her phone, and yep, just as she thought, there was a text from Nathaniel. I ordered breakfast for you. Make sure you eat. Seriously. How could someone be this thoughtful? She took the box to the dining table and opened it. Just like she guessed, her kind of breakfast, crystal dumplings, pan-fried buns, refreshing mung bean soup, and her absolute favorite, spicy chili sauce. Feeling totally spoiled, she finally gave Nathaniel a call. The phone barely rang before he picked up. Mrs. Connor. Nathaniel, I'm already missing you. What should I do? There was a long pause on the line. Nathaniel? Yeah, I'm here. His voice came low and warm through the phone. I'll be back as soon as I can. Okay, just focus on your work, all right? I'm just a bit bored home alone, that's all. Don't worry about me. I'm just not used to it yet. I know. Sophia's face went slightly red as she cupped her cheeks. Did you land already? Just got off the plane. At the airport exit, Nathaniel and James were met by their pickup. Nathaniel didn't get in right away and reminded Sophia, don't forget to put the ointment on your wrist. Take care of yourself. You too. Reluctantly ending the call, Sophia suddenly felt even lonelier. She switched on the TV to find something to watch, but the shows she usually liked somehow lost their charm. Every news station was talking about the upcoming May Day holiday. Traffic jams everywhere, more accidents, tourist spots packed to the brim. Social media was flooded with photos of seas of people. Honestly, Sophia felt kinda lucky she hadn't made any travel plans. Still bored out of her mind, she gave up on the TV, turned it off, and went upstairs to tidy up the place. Laundry, vacuuming the floor, even snipped a few flowers from the garden and arranged them in a vase. By the time she was done, she was covered in sweat and rushed for a quick shower before heading back downstairs. Just as she reached the staircase, her phone started ringing. Could it be Nathaniel? Sophia hurried down and picked up the call without even checking the screen. Hello? Sophia Williams, where the heck did you disappear to? Hannah? Surprise and joy lit up Sophia's face. Hannah Clark was her best friend, the one constant connection she held on to after moving from Linjiang City to Lixin City, cutting off almost everyone else. They grew up together, shared everything. 2 years ago at her wedding, Hannah had stood by her side as maid of honor. Even when everything went south with that scandalous video, Hannah never doubted her. Hannah, what made you call me all of a sudden? What? I can't miss you unless you miss me first? You brat? I thought something happened to you. What could have happened to her? That totally threw Sophia off. Get your butt back here. I'm standing outside your old apartment. Something's wrong. Sophia's heart skipped a beat. Don't tell me. Did something happen to my mom? Ugh! Stop jinxing it. I meant your place here in Lixin City. That was a relief. Wait, her place in Lixin City? Sophia's eyes widened. You came to Lixin City? Uh-huh. Since you won't come see me in Linjiang, I figured I'd come hunt you down myself. Now hurry back. I'll be there in half an hour. Make it snappy. I'm basically roasting out here. I'm on it. Hanging up, Sophia rushed to change her clothes and dashed out. She'd once told Hannah about her place in Moon Bay after moving to Lixin, but hadn't brought up her spontaneous marriage with Nathaniel, so Hannah must have assumed she still lived there. Sophia sped the entire way back to Moon Bay. As she reached the fourth-floor stairwell, she spotted Hannah standing by the door in a breezy white t-shirt and denim shorts, backpack slung over her shoulders. Her neat chin-length bob barely covered her neck, just long enough to be annoying in summer. Her face was flushed bright red from the heat, and she kept fanning herself with her hand. Hannah! Took you long enough. Any later and I'd have passed out from a sweat death. Thanks for ruining the touching reunion moment. Hannah didn't waste a second, nudging the half-open door with her foot. Get in here. Your whole damn place has been trashed. Chapter 71, The Green Tea Witch. Sophia finally noticed that the door to her rental apartment was slightly ajar. It had clearly been kicked open. Inside, it was a total disaster. The living room floor was littered with shattered glass from broken cups and vases. The sofa was flipped over, the TV screen smashed to bits. Pretty much everything that could be destroyed was. Overturned chairs and tables scattered all over the place. There was so much broken glass on the floor it was nearly impossible to even step inside. Sophia sucked in a breath, heart sinking. She tiptoed through the wreckage into the kitchen, and it looked just as bad, if not worse. Every pot, pan, bowl, and plate had been either smashed or tossed around like trash. Panic rising, she rushed into the bedroom. Since she hadn't moved all her stuff to Nathaniel's yet, a bunch of off-season clothes were still here. Now, all those clothes had been viciously hacked to shreds, ripped to the point of no return. Even her sheets and duvet had been slashed into tatters. It was ugly. Hannah followed closely behind, her tone grim. I checked your vanity earlier. None of your jewelry or valuables are missing, and there's cash still lying on the floor. Sophia blinked and looked around. Yep, several bills just laying there, untouched. Hannah, this wasn't some random break-in. Hannah's voice was firm. Thieves don't leave money behind, and even if they did, they'd never go out of their way to break all the fragile stuff. Too loud. They'd want a quick in and out. She stepped to the bed and picked up one of Sophia's ripped shirts, her expression calm but serious. Take a look. Sophia frowned. What am I supposed to be seeing? Hannah rolled her eyes. Come on, really look. Notice which parts got cut up the most. Sophia examined the damage more closely and felt a chill down her spine. The tops were slashed mostly around the chest. Pants and skirts, all cut in their most private areas. Her stomach sank. Hannah, what does that mean? It means this was done by a woman, and a woman who's insanely jealous of you. Think hard. Who did you piss off like that? Sophia went silent, deep in thought. The more she reflected, the darker her expression turned. You remembered someone? Then we need to call the cops. No. Sophia quickly grabbed her arm, inhaling deeply. Please, don't call anyone. Hannah frowned. So you know exactly who did this. If that's true, you have to report it. Not doing anything is just asking for more trouble. Trust me, I've seen stuff like this before. If someone hates you enough to do this, who knows what they'll try next? This could have been just the warm-up, or maybe you only got lucky not being home. Either way, if you've got a name, you better act on it. Next time, you might not be so lucky. Her warning hit like a ton of bricks. Seeing Hannah so serious, Sophia instead gave a faint smile. I know you're just looking out for me. Then why won't you call the police? Because I can't. Why not? Because she already knew exactly who it was. Her social circle in Lixon City was tiny. Outside of the girls at the editorial office, she barely knew anyone, and none of her coworkers had beef with her. Definitely not the type to trash her place. The only person at work she had a fallout with was Emma Mitchell. But even that was no biggie. Sophia had clearly told her she had a boyfriend, so Emma wouldn't see her as competition. No matter how much Emma disliked her, she wouldn't go this far and wreck someone's home. Total chaos at home got her mind spinning, and it didn't take long before a name popped into her head: Lily Hudson. Sophia, I think it was Lily Hudson who did this. Lily Hudson? Hannah's voice shot up several octaves. That fake snake's in Lixon too? What the hell is wrong with her? Why would she ruin your place? Then a thought hit her. Hey, didn't Oliver Bennett recently show up in Lixon too? Sophia gave a silent nod. Hannah rolled her eyes and snapped her fingers. Ugh, makes perfect sense now. She poked Sophia in the forehead like a scolding big sister. When Sophia glared at her, eye-twitching, Hannah didn't flinch. Don't you give me that look. I've told you 1,000,000 times. Lily's not innocent. The way she used to eye Oliver, she might as well have stuck a "Take Me Now" sign on her forehead. But no, you insisted she was some shy little angel. All right, I get it. You were right, I was wrong. Happy now? Hannah scoffed and rolled her eyes again. Honestly, she'd never been able to stand Lily. Back when Sophia and Oliver were still dating, Lily would somehow always accidentally show up during their dates. No matter what, it always ended in a third-wheel situation. And after Sophia left Linjiang City, Lily basically stopped pretending. Every time she called Oliver Ziwe Gege in that sickly sweet tone, Hannah's stomach turned. Long story short, Lily was textbook definition of a two-faced drama queen. You're really not calling the cops? Sophia nodded again, because if she did, the police would start digging and Lily's name would come up for sure. Sophia had long stopped caring about Lily, but her mom still adored her. And if Lily landed in lockup because of her, her mom would never let it go. You keep letting people walk all over you and then wonder why they do, Hannah sighed. She totally got it. Sophia was just trying to spare her mom's feelings. She gave a resigned shrug. So what now? This room's a mess. What else? Gotta clean up. Sophia rolled up her sleeves. Wait, what? Heh, Hannah, you're my lifesaver. Help me out, pretty please. Excuse me. I got off a plane, rushed straight here, haven't had a sip of water, and now you're roping me into cleaning? Sophia gave her a cheeky grin. Hannah shivered dramatically. Cut that out. Come on, be a pal. Ugh, Hannah gave in. So they got to work, tossed what needed tossing, scrubbed what needed scrubbing. Took them 3 whole hours to make the place even halfway presentable. Sophia packed up whatever wasn't completely trashed and made a call to the landlord. Since the landlord's stuff had been wrecked, she ended up compensating a good sum before officially moving out. After that, she only had a little over 500 left. Hannah had to lend her a couple thousand to cover the rest. Dripping in sweat, Hannah finally walked downstairs with Sophia and couldn't help groaning. I came all this way out of the goodness of my heart. Haven't eaten all day, ended up cleaning your war zone of a place, and even paid out of pocket. Seriously, what am I doing with my life? Sophia laughed awkwardly. Hehe. Hannah rolled her eyes one more time. Whatever. I'm too deep in now. But seriously, now that you've given up the place, where the heck are you gonna stay? Chapter 72. She's met Nathaniel before. Hannah. Yeah? Hannah Clark glanced over. Sophia Williams looked a little sheepish. I thought I told you I'd moved already. I just haven't given up the lease on the old place yet. 30 minutes later. Holy crap, Sophia, are you serious? You've got to be kidding me. Do you have a sugar daddy or something? This place is insane. I'm actually going to faint. Get over here now. What is it? Sophia strolled over. Hannah didn't hold back. She pinched Sophia's arm hard. Ow! That hurt. No kidding. Sophia gave her a sharp look. Good. That means I'm not dreaming. Walking into the living room, Hannah practically melted into the cool, air-conditioned space, She let out a sigh of pure bliss. Oh my God, this temperature is heaven. And this sofa, it has to be real leather, right? So comfy. Sophia couldn't help but laugh. She dropped their bags in the living room before nudging Hannah, who was cuddling up to the couch like it was her long-lost love. All right, go take a shower first. Got it. Hannah followed her upstairs. Sophia led her to her room and handed her a set of clean clothes. Hannah hugged the clothes close, narrowing her eyes at Sophia. I'll shower, but you'd better spill everything when I'm done. What the heck is going on here? Relax. I wasn't planning to hide it from you anyway. Humph. Better be. Satisfied, Hannah headed into the bathroom with her clothes in tow. Sophia, meanwhile, was humming a little tune, clearly in a great mood. She was sure anyone else seeing her in this kind of luxe villa would assume the worst. But not Hannah. Hannah truly knew her. She never once thought Sophia was gold-digging. No judgment on her face, just trust. That alone made Sophia's smile grow even brighter. After picking out her own clothes, she headed over to Nathaniel Connor's room for a shower. Once she was done, she pulled out her phone and sent him a quick text. Nathaniel, my friend's in town for a couple days. She'll be staying with us. Home. Nathaniel was lounging at home with his grandparents when the message came through. He glanced at it, and his normally cool expression softened. The corners of his mouth even lifted a bit. No way. That's a smile, right? Across from him on the sofa sat two elderly folks with neatly combed silver hair. Despite their age, both looked sharp and full of life. The old lady's cheerful expression made her seem even more approachable and warm-hearted. Seeing their usually stoic grandson cracking a smile, it was almost a miracle. The two exchanged a loaded look. The old lady perked right up. Nathaniel, yeah? Are you dating someone? He replied Sophia with a simple, okay, make sure she feels at home. After sending it off, he tucked his phone back in his pocket, only to look up and meet his grandmother's overly curious expression. Come on, spill. Are you seeing someone or not? Your grandpa and I have been dying to see you finally settle down. I mean, come on, you're 29 already, almost 30. When your grandfather was 30, your mom was already in elementary school. She slid over to sit closer to him. Come on now, hand over that phone. Let Grandma see. Grandma? Oh, please, no need to be shy with family. Grandma reached straight into Nathaniel Connor's pocket and fished out his phone. She pulled up the most recent message, and right there in bold letters the contact name said, Mrs. Connor. Whew, she gasped loudly. What? What's going on? Grandpa leaned in, clearly just as nosy. The moment he saw those three words, both of them froze. Is this illegal? Nope. All legal. Nathaniel had already planned to come clean during this visit, so he didn't try to hide anything, just quietly waited for the questions to come. But instead, my grandson finally found someone who wants him. Haha, this is amazing. I always said, even if this kid's a bit cold, talks less than a stone, and yeah, a little on the older side, but he's not completely hopeless. At least he's handsome. Finally, a woman snagged him. Grandpa didn't say a word, but the smile on his face said it all, relieved and happy. Nathaniel's lips twitched hard. Grandma, aren't you even curious when I got married? Grandma waved it off without a second thought. As long as you got yourself a wife, that's all that matters. Nathaniel, you're not even a little curious about who your granddaughter-in-law is. Well, the fact that she saw something in you already proves she's either got questionable taste or fantastic judgment. Yeah, not many girls have eyes that sharp these days. Nathaniel, you'd better treat her well or your grandpa and I will make sure you regret it. Amitabha. The two of them had pretty much lost hope that Nathaniel would ever tie the knot. He was just too emotionally distant, not great with women either. There was even a point where they started wondering if he swung the other way. Wait a sec. Grandma leaned in closer, whispering, your wife, she's a woman, right? Nathaniel's forehead throbbed with a visible vein. Grinding his teeth, he snapped, of course she's a woman! Praise be! That's good! That's very good! Nathaniel. Meanwhile, Sophia Williams finally came downstairs after showering, already past 3 in the afternoon. She darted into the kitchen and cooked up 2 bowls of instant noodles. When Hannah Clark walked in, she looked like she'd just been betrayed. Sophia, how could you? I spent money and busted my butt helping you, and you feed me instant noodles. I'm broke, Sophia groaned. She'd handed her last $500 to the landlord. She was officially penniless. Hannah rolled her eyes but ate the noodles anyway, loudly unimpressed. When she finished, she tossed down her chopsticks and wiped her mouth. All right, spill. What the hell is going on? Sophia didn't hide a thing. She laid it all out, how she met Nathaniel on a blind date, how they rushed into marriage, and everything that happened afterward. Hannah was basically listening like it was a dramatic podcast, eyes wide, mouth open. So, you had a flash marriage, and are you telling me you accidentally married into a wealthy family? Sophia nodded and silently slid their marriage certificate across the table. Hannah opened it, took a look, and her brows instantly furrowed. What's wrong? Sophia's heart skipped. Deep down, she still hoped Hannah would be happy for her. I knew that name felt familiar. Sophia, I've seen this guy before. You've seen Nathaniel? Remind me, what company did you say he's with? Connor Corporation, based in Linjiang. Connor Corporation? Oh my God. Staring at the red marriage certificate in her hands, Hannah finally put the pieces together. 2 years ago at Sophia's wedding that didn't happen with Oliver Bennett, Connor Corporation folks had been there too. And Nathaniel, he was one of the guests at that near wedding. Chapter 73, What Are You Really After? Hannah Clark suddenly felt her heart jolt. So, Nathaniel Connor actually knew about the mess that happened at Sophia's wedding 2 years ago? Then, does Sophia even know who Nathaniel really is? She handed the marriage certificate back to Sophia and couldn't help asking when she saw her confused expression. Sophia, you'd never met Nathaniel before you two got married? Sophia shook her head, looking genuinely lost. Yup, she really had no clue. Hannah rubbed her temples, feeling a headache coming on. Should she tell Sophia the truth or not? You've met Nathaniel before? Sophia asked. Yeah. Sophia didn't think much of it. She just stared at the marriage certificate with a sigh. Linjing City isn't that big, but not that small either. You've seen him, yet somehow I never ran into him before. Hannah rolled her eyes. Back then, your eyes were glued to Oliver Bennett. Even if you had seen Nathaniel, you wouldn't have recognized him. Sophia chuckled. That's probably true. Hannah sighed. Since Sophia didn't know about Nathaniel's background, there's no way she knew that Oliver's fiancée was actually Nathaniel's half-sister. Talk about tangled relationships. Sophia, do you actually like Nathaniel now? The mention of his name made Sophia's cheeks flush slightly. Welp, that reaction said it all. No need to spell it out. Girl was smitten. Hannah tested the waters. Does he know about your past? Sophia's smile faded, and she shook her head quietly. Just as I thought. Sophia, I never thought this day would come. 2 years ago, when I left Linjing City, I thought I'd never be able to trust a guy again, she said softly. Sophia, Hannah immediately regretted bringing it up again. She squeezed her friend's hand and looked her in the eye. What happened back then wasn't your fault. Sophia gave a bitter smile. Yeah, right. How could it not be? If it weren't for her, none of what followed would have happened. There wouldn't have been a wedding, her family wouldn't have become a joke in Linjing, and her grandpa might still be alive. Tears welled up in her eyes. She took a deep breath, pushed the thoughts away, and smiled at Hannah instead. You remember those endless blind dates I had when I moved to Lixin City? At first, I still had some hope in guys, but after those 2 years, I totally gave up. You wouldn't believe how many awful dates I went on, and then I met Nathaniel. He's like this rare, peaceful spot in a sea of chaos. Honestly, I've never met someone so decent. Looks, presence, it's like he stepped right out of a book. Hannah listened intently. I was at my wit's end when I suggested dating him. Then stuff just snowballed, flash marriage, living together. Now we're like your typical married couple. And honestly, I like how things are now. Sure, we had no feelings to start with, but we get along really well. I'm genuinely happy, and I don't want to change anything. Hannah nodded slowly, understanding. My only real regret is not telling him about what happened 2 years ago before we rushed into this marriage. Hannah, I keep feeling like this happiness I have now isn't really mine. Like I stole it. I don't even know if he'd still be the same if he ever finds out the truth. As she spoke, a hint of self-mockery tugged at the corner of her mouth. I mean, I did keep it from him first. If he finds out the truth and wants a divorce, I won't fight it. Hannah Clark blinked. Seriously? This girl was way too pessimistic. Now she was pretty sure Nathaniel Connor had to know about Sophia's past. The cop in her kicked in and she started over-analyzing. So why the sudden marriage? And why was he treating her so nicely? Love? Yeah, right. Don't kid yourself. He had to have an agenda. Could it be because of Oliver Bennett? The moment Oliver's engagement to Natalie Connor crossed her mind, Hannah tensed. Was Nathaniel marrying Sophia just to mess with that half-sister of his? The more she turned it over in her head, the more it made sense. But how the heck was she supposed to tell Sophia? The poor girl had just started to trust a guy again. If she found out her marriage was just some kind of scheme, Hannah didn't even want to imagine the fallout. But keeping quiet wasn't an option either. If Sophia got in too deep and then learned the truth, it hit 10 times harder. Damn it, she was actually starting to regret coming to Lixon City. Now this crazy mess was all on her plate. What was she supposed to do? No way, she couldn't just sit by and do nothing. She had to dig deeper. Sophia. Yeah? Sophia glanced over her shoulder while taking out the trash. What? Let me use your phone for a sec. On the table. Lock code's my birthday. Hannah quietly fetched the phone from the dining table, typed in the password, opened the contacts, and memorized Nathaniel's number. After tidying up the dining room, Sophia settled into the couch with a drama on. Hannah, on the other hand, couldn't sit still to save her life. She wandered all over the villa, practically gave herself a house tour. Even after checking out every room, it wasn't dark yet. She bounced down the stairs, flipped herself over the arm of the sofa, and landed right in front of Sophia. Let's go shopping or something. Nope, I'm broke. Hannah glanced at her show with a dramatic eye roll. You make 30 grand a month and you're calling yourself broke? Come on, didn't you say Nathaniel gave you a card with plenty of cash on it? Just use his money. I don't want to. Why not? Annoyed by the noise, Sophia finally gave her a look. She lowered her voice. What if we break up someday? I don't want to owe him. Hannah blinked. Where do you even get these ideas? Clearly, it was time for a serious talk. Sophia. Ding, ding, ding. Sophia pointed at Hannah's pocket. Your phone's ringing. Hannah sighed and pulled it out. Her eyes froze on the screen. That number, wasn't that the one she copied from Sophia's phone? Nathaniel Connor. How'd he even get her number? Gripping the phone tight, she glanced at Sophia, then stepped out onto the balcony. Keep watching. I gotta take this outside. Okay. Honestly, even if he hadn't called, she would have done it first. This talk needed to happen. Once she was sure Sophia was out of earshot, Hannah picked up. Mr. Connor, Miss Clark, so you do know who I am. Her gaze sharpened, voice crisp and cold. Nathaniel, what are you trying to do? Why go to all this trouble to get close to Sophia and lie to her? Chapter 74, Only I Can Give Her Happiness. On the other end of the line, Nathaniel Connor's nerves were on edge. At first, when he got Sophia's message, he didn't think much of it. But after wrapping up a chat with his grandparents, he rechecked the message and something instantly felt off. Nathaniel, I've got a friend coming to Lixon City. She'll be staying with me for a couple of days. He knew every little thing about Sophia's life. And in Linjiang City, she only had one close friend, Hannah Clark. And Hannah had seen him before. Zero hesitation, Nathaniel had James dig up Hannah's number and called her immediately. The moment he heard her say Mr. Connor, his heart dropped. Miss Clark, did you say anything to Sophia about me? Mr. Connor, don't flip this. I'm the one who should be asking questions right now. Nathaniel felt a bit exasperated. But considering Hannah was Sophia's bestie and probably just trying to protect her, he made himself stay calm. His voice dropped low. I've never lied to her. Bullcrap. You think I'm blind? Don't even pretend like you don't know about her past or about her and Oliver Bennett. Nathaniel, listen up. If you're using her to get at Natalie Connor, I swear I won't let that slide. On her end, Hannah was so angry she was nearly pacing. Also, you bastard, hear this loud and clear. If you dare hurt Sophia, I don't care if you're the heir to the Connor group or some sort of god. I, Hannah Clark, will take you down with me if I have to. Miss Clark, Nathaniel raised his tone slightly. Please, just hear me out. Then spit it out, or shut up and don't waste my time. First of all, just answer me this. Did you tell Sophia anything about me? Unbelievable. He was the one with shady secrets, and yet he was acting all high and mighty? Hannah's opinion of him plummeted to rock bottom. She gritted her teeth. I could tell her any time I want. In other words, she hadn't yet. Relief washed over Nathaniel, and his voice returned to its usual calm and composed tone. Miss Clark, would you be willing to hear a story? Pfft, go on. Nathaniel didn't care about her sarcasm. Seated in his study, he unlocked a drawer with a key. Inside was a thick file folder, jam-packed with Sophia's life history. From the day she was born up to now at 26, every detail documented. Running a hand over the folder, he said in a low voice, It starts 11 years ago. Back then, an 18-year-old boy had just come home from studying in the U.S. He still had his sister by his side. About a year after returning, during a routine visit to his sister's company with her and her husband, they accidentally ran into a targeted shooting at a remote construction site. His sister shielded him and died on the spot. Her husband was shot and didn't make it either. He managed to escape, barely, and just when he thought it was over, a cop who was on duty at the site saved his life. Nathaniel's tone was flat, emotionless. He was 19. After that incident, he inherited his sister's company and started investigating who was behind the hit. Then 2 weeks later, news came that the officer who saved him had been killed too. Hannah froze. Wait, you're not saying... Yes, the officer was Sophia's dad, Ethan Williams. Hannah gasped and instinctively covered her mouth. She couldn't find the words. You. The boy felt incredibly guilty. If it hadn't been for him, Ethan Williams might have never gotten caught up in any of it. After the incident, he quietly looked into Ethan's life, found out he had a beloved daughter, and realized things weren't going so well for her. From then on, he started helping her from the shadows. Maybe it was because of his guilt. Maybe it was because they'd both just lost people close to them. He felt this strange connection to her, like they were both carrying wounds. He'd keep track of her news whenever he could, and sometimes he'd sneak over to her school just to catch a glimpse. She was 16, right in the prime of youth, and absolutely beautiful. Unlike him, even though she went through a lot at home, she still smiled like nothing could bring her down. Her smile was warm. It lit up the place. He couldn't help but be drawn to it. Over time, maybe because he needed something to hold on to, he started realizing his feelings toward her had changed. He wanted to be around her all the time, but at that point he was still a kid. He didn't have what it took to protect someone he cared about. So he kept working hard in the dark, growing, pushing himself. He told himself that once he could stand strong enough, he'd go after her for real. And so he waited. Years passed. He finally grew up, became a man, and went looking for her, only to find out she was already in love. She looked really happy with her boyfriend. They just fit so well. He was good to her. They were the kind of couple people looked at and thought, perfect match. As Hannah Clark listened, she suddenly felt this ache in her chest. And then, she asked softly, he saw how happy she was, and that bitterness he'd felt at first, it just faded. All that was left was a deep wish for her to always stay that happy. Later, when she got married, he even showed up at her wedding, keeping a low profile. But the whole thing turned into a mess, and the man who was supposed to protect her, he ended up being just like the others, someone who hurt her. The boy wanted to step in and keep her safe, but he had no place in that moment. After that, he made up his mind. If she was ever going to be happy, it had to be with him. Hannah was stunned. She really hadn't seen that coming. He waited 2 whole years, figured he'd give her time to heal. But when time passed and she was still stuck in the past, he decided waiting wasn't going to cut it anymore. So he took a risk, played a little trick, swapped places with her blind date to meet her face to face. Nathaniel Connor paused, then looked at Hannah and said, "You've probably guessed it by now. That boy was me. Why didn't you just tell Sophia everything? Some things can't be rushed." At that, Hannah finally understood. If Sophia had known from the start that Nathaniel had been privy to her past, she never would have given him a chance. She'd see him and be reminded of everything she wanted to forget. Better to keep her in the dark a little longer. That way, he had a shot at slowly becoming a part of her world. "Why are you telling me all this?" "Because you're her best friend, and I know you genuinely care about her. We both want the same thing, for her to be happy. Hannah couldn't deny it. His sincerity got to her, and his reasoning made sense. I'm asking you, Hannah, please keep this between us. If it's for Sophia's sake, you don't even need to ask. But, Nathaniel, have you thought about what'll happen when she eventually finds out the truth about your sister and Oliver Bennett? Chapter 75, Nathaniel was engaged. Of course, Nathaniel had thought about this issue. After a pause, he said, all I can say is, as long as Sophia has me in her heart, it doesn't matter if it's Oliver or Natalie, no one else can come between us. Hannah nodded. Got it. After hanging up, Hannah walked back into the living room. Sophia was curled up on the couch with a glass of orange juice, watching a drama. Seeing Hannah, she blinked. Done with your call? Yeah, just finished. Hannah plopped down beside her and swiped the orange juice from her hand, taking a few big sips before letting out a sigh. She looked at Sophia and said, Girl, seriously, you've got some insane luck. To have run into someone like Nathaniel, deeply devoted and always putting her first. Huh? I mean, just think about it. Nathaniel's rich, kind, and totally into you. Where do you even find a guy like that these days? Heh, yeah, I feel pretty lucky. Hannah gave her a light tap on the head and suddenly remembered something. She leaned in, curious. So how far have you and Nathaniel gotten? Sophia's face turned bright red. She quickly looked away. What kind of question is that? Come on, don't be shy. I'm seriously asking. Hannah's expression turned serious. Sophia, have you ever heard any gossip about Nathaniel? Everyone in Linjiang talks about him. They say the heir of the Connor family is cold as ice, like he's been through something. Supposedly he doesn't let women near him at all. That's not true, Sophia quickly defended. Those are all rumors. Nathaniel isn't like that at all. I get it. You care about him, so you don't want to believe it. But just think, how come someone like him stayed single until 29? Sure, for most people that's fine, but for someone from a family like his, he's got brothers to compete with. Marrying into another wealthy family could have been strategic for him. And yet, with how amazing he is, why didn't any rich girls go after him? Any idea why? Sophia looked totally confused. She honestly hadn't thought about it before, let alone figured out the reason. I do know why. Hannah handed her the juice, and Sophia quickly set it back on the coffee table. Okay, stop teasing me and just spit it out. All right, I will. They say, well, there are two theories floating around. First one, he doesn't like women. No way. Hold on, let me finish, Hannah said, raising an eyebrow. The second one, he's got some physical issues, in that area. Sophia, what the heck? She turned away, totally not buying it. I'm telling you, there's actually some solid reason behind this. Like what? Did you know Nathaniel was engaged once? Boom. Sophia's brain went blank for a few seconds. She slowly turned to look at Hannah, stunned. Knew you didn't know. Back then, you were head over heels for Oliver. No wonder you didn't notice what was going on around you. Hannah slung an arm around her neck. Don't look so shocked. I mean, Nathaniel's what, almost 30? Wouldn't it be weirder if he'd never had a girlfriend before? Tell me everything. Sophia felt a twinge of discomfort. Nathaniel had never mentioned any of this to her, but the thought barely surfaced before she let out a helpless laugh. Back when she was with Oliver, they were on the brink of marriage, and she hadn't exactly been up front with Nathaniel either. Thinking of it like that made everything easier to swallow. Everyone's got their own secrets, right? Apparently, Nathaniel was once engaged a few years back, Hannah said. The girl came from one of the top families here in Linjiang, but 2 years ago, she broke it off. No one knows why for sure, but the word going around is he never even touched her, like at all. Since then, none of the rich families here are interested in marrying off their daughters to him anymore. No one wants their kid marrying into a cold house. Sophia was stunned. That was not what she expected to hear. So spill it, Hannah leaned in, raising an eyebrow. You and Nathaniel, have you two, Sophia shook her head frantically. Seeing Hannah about to speak again, she quickly slapped a hand over the woman's mouth. Nope, I can't believe that. Nathaniel said he'd wait until I was ready, and I believe him. Hannah rolled her eyes in exasperation and pulled Sophia's hand away. And what if that wait till you're ready line is just a cover because he's not up to it? Sophia fell silent. I don't buy it, Hannah declared. A mischievous glint sparked in her eyes. There's a quick way to find out, isn't there? Sophia blinked, caught completely off guard. What do you mean? Hannah leaned closer and whispered something into her ear. Sophia's face turned bright red, like full-blown tomato red. Even her neck was getting in on the action. By the time Hannah finished, Sophia practically jumped off the couch, waving her hands like crazy. No way, I can't do that! Hannah gave her a look. Come on, for the sake of your future, happiness, maybe just think about it. Sophia, still covering her overheated cheeks, shook her head like mad. That idea was just too much. I'm just giving you options, Hannah shrugged, smirking. Whether you go for it or not, totally up to you. As your bestie, this is as far as I can take you. Hannah, Sophia couldn't stop the guilt from rising. After all that effort her friend made, she'd feel bad not at least considering it. Originally, Hannah had planned on staying longer with Sophia, maybe even sticking around until Nathaniel came back so she could get a read on him. But plans are often one step behind reality. After just 2 days in Lixon City, she got an urgent call from the station and had to head back right away. You're leaving? Yeah. Hannah packed in a flash, gave Sophia a big hug. I really wanted to hang out more, but a case popped up. Gotta go. Sophia hugged back tightly, reluctant to let go. But that was just part of Hannah's job. She was a cop. When duty called, she had to respond no matter what. Okay, no getting all emotional now, Hannah teased. You'll be back in Linjiang soon. We'll see each other all the time then. Yeah, Sophia mumbled, nodding. She drove Hannah to the airport and waved goodbye. On her way home, the emptiness crept in again. Before she even got back, her phone buzzed, and the name flashing on screen wiped the smile off her face. Oliver Bennett. That's right. Today was the end of that 3-day deadline they'd agreed upon. Sophia's expression darkened. She took a deep breath and picked up. She didn't even get to speak before Oliver's confident, smug voice came through the speaker. Sophia, time to come to the hotel. Chapter 76. You're not even worth his fingernail. Sir, change the route. Take me to Anran Hotel. Got it. 15 minutes later, Sophia arrived at Anran Hotel. The moment she stepped out of the cab, she spotted Oliver waiting by the entrance. He was dressed just like she remembered. Crisp white shirt, beige slacks, sleeves casually rolled up to his elbows in the summer heat. He leaned lazily against the wall, both hands stuck in his pockets. As soon as he saw her step out, his eyes lit up behind his rimless glasses. Sophia! He instinctively took a few steps forward, gaze locked on her like he was lost in a daze. Sophia wasn't working today, so she had on something comfy, a simple solid-colored dress that hugged her waist, sneakers on her feet, hair tied up in a ponytail. It was incredibly close to how she looked back when they were dating. Sophia! Oliver Bennett! She immediately stepped back, her face dark with disgust. Don't get any closer! Oliver snapped out of his memories. His eyes went cold for a moment, but then he thought, after today, she'd be his. Her reaction made sense. That thought made him smirk again. I booked lunch for us, figured we could talk over food. Sophia didn't object. She had come today to straighten things out anyway, and clearly the hotel entrance wasn't going to cut it for this kind of conversation. Oliver reserved a private room, but Sophia insisted they eat in the public dining area on the first floor. She wasn't being overly cautious after what he pulled last time. She couldn't afford not to be. A private room meant just the two of them. If he lost it and did something crazy, no one would be there to help her. All right, wherever you say. Oliver looked relaxed. In his mind, she would give in eventually. A waiter led them into the nearly empty restaurant. It was only 10 in the morning, barely anyone around. Sophia picked a quiet spot in the corner and sat down. Oliver sat across from her, grinning. I ordered ahead. The food here's amazing. You should try it later. Sophia didn't respond. He went ahead and put a glass of brown sugar milk tea in front of her. Seeing she didn't look too happy, he chuckled and said, Honestly, after all these years, brown sugar still tastes the best. You've just forgotten because you haven't had it in so long. One sip and you'll remember just how good it really is. Sophia leaned back against the leather couch, pushed the milk tea aside, grabbed another glass, and filled it with plain water. All the color drained from Oliver's face. Sophia, what's that supposed to mean? Milk tea's all sugar, no nutrition. If there's no juice, then water's fine. In this heat, water quenches your thirst better anyway. Oliver drew in a sharp breath. Sophia, don't push me. She didn't even flinch, just lifted her glass and took a sip. Oliver had to swallow his temper. He reached over and laid his hand on hers. Let go. Sophia, stop being so stubborn. You're going to be mine starting today. Might as well make the best of it and stop fighting me. If you piss me off, I might do something stupid, and you'll be the one who pays. She yanked her hand back without hesitation. Oliver Bennett's face turned stiff, voice low and cold. Don't think you can play around just because I care about you. Oliver, I think you've got the wrong idea. Oliver narrowed his eyes. What's that supposed to mean? I didn't come here today to back down, he snorted. Save it. Resistance is useless. I'm already married. Oliver stared in disbelief. Believe it or not, I'm married. That's a fact. And no, I'm not divorcing my husband. No way he's better than me. You're wrong. Oliver frowned, clearly not expecting that. Sophia looked him in the eye, dead serious, then shook her head. You're not even close to being on his level. Oliver's expression darkened. Sophia Williams, I came to tell you this face to face. I'm not giving in to your threats. You. Listen up. I know what kind of man my husband is. Your fiancé? She can't touch him. And even if her family background tops his, so what? You gonna tell her the real reason you're after us? If she finds out how you really feel about me, what do you think she'll do? Still have your back? Sophia Williams. She gave a short laugh. If your fiancé knew the whole story, pretty sure she'd not only dump you but call off the engagement altogether. I might not know who she is, but your engagement isn't exactly a secret. I just need to ask around in Linjiang, find her, and tell her the truth. Now tell me, who's the one in trouble then, you or me? Oliver clenched his jaw. He never expected to be flipped on like this by Sophia. His eyes narrowed, the glare on his rimless glasses flashing cold. What about your mom and your sister? Don't tell me you don't care about them. I do. Oliver finally smiled, thinking he caught a break. As long as Sophia cared, he had a leverage. But, Sophia continued, her tone sharp, you still can't use them to control me. Oliver's fist tightened. Don't push me. One word from me and your mom loses everything. And your sister? Without me in her corner, how long do you think she'll last in showbiz? You can't win this. Stop struggling. Then go ahead. Let them lose it all. The veins on Oliver's forehead popped. Sophia Williams. I love my mom. Sure, she might lose her current lifestyle, but as long as I'm alive, I'll make sure she's taken care of. She won't starve. And for Lily, do whatever you want. Sophia. She'd said all she needed. Sophia grabbed her purse and stood up. I've said what I came to say. Goodbye. She paused, then turned to look at Oliver over her shoulder. Actually, scratch that. Let's make that a goodbye for good. Then, ignoring the fury written all over Oliver's face, she turned around and walked away without hesitation. 3 days ago, she'd been too mad to think straight. But now she had things figured out. She fought hard for her peace, and she wasn't going to let Oliver throw it all into chaos that easily. No way she'd cave to his threats. So go ahead, play your dirty tricks. She wasn't leaving Nathaniel. She'd never be Oliver's little secret. She had nothing to lose, and if he really pushed her to the edge, then fine, let it all blow up. She wasn't going down alone. Chapter 77 Warning, Sophia Williams. Oliver Bennett was so pissed he slammed the cup right onto the table. The crash instantly drew everyone's eyes in the restaurant. A waiter quickly came over. Sir, please keep it down while dining. Damn it. Sir, get lost. Oliver was completely losing it. He didn't even hesitate, bolted out of the restaurant and chased after Sophia. Right then, his phone started ringing. More annoyed than ever, he didn't even check the caller ID and barked into the phone, You better hope you're not wasting my time. Oliver Bennett, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Dad? Glad you remember I'm your father. That snapped a bit of sense back into him. He took a deep breath, trying to rein in his temper. Dad, what's up? How many times have I told you to come back right away? Have you grown wings now? Think you can just ignore me? Dad, there's still some things I need to handle here in Lixon. I don't care what it is. Drop it. Come back this instant. Dad. Bennett corpse in trouble. Oliver stiffened. What? There's been sabotage. Someone's coming after us from the shadows. Get back here and figure it out, or we're done for." Oliver's face dropped completely. He knew his father wouldn't joke about company matters, which meant it was real. Something was seriously wrong with Bennett Corp. His end of the business had already been rocky. If things collapsed back home, it'd be disaster. "Dad, don't freak out yet." He clenched his phone tight, forcing himself to focus. "Any idea who's behind it?" "No." Jonathan Bennett snapped. "There weren't any signs before this. Everything hit all of a sudden in the past 2 days. Materials from the plant aren't moving at all anymore. I asked around, and a longtime partner hinted someone's pulling strings behind our backs. Damn it. If I find out who it is, they're done." "No clues at all. If I had a name, would I be this pissed? They just implied we ticked someone off. I've been racking my brain. Can't think of anyone we might have offended recently." "Oliver, did you piss someone off over there in Lixon?" "Him?" Oliver paused, thinking hard. Lately, the only person he'd really crossed was Sophia Williams. But there's no way Sophia had the power to mess with Bennett Corp like that. "Dad, I didn't offend anyone. Doesn't matter. Just get back here first." "All right, I'm on my way." No matter how unwilling he was, Oliver had no choice now. He had to shelf everything about Sophia for the time being. After stepping out of the restaurant, Sophia finally turned around to check. No one was following her. Phew! Free at last! Whatever lingering feelings she'd once had for Oliver, they were completely wiped out after today. All that remained was pure revulsion and a deep grudge. Ugh! Her stomach let out a loud protest. She rubbed her belly, looking miserable. Honestly, she should have waited until after dinner to confront Oliver. At least she could have scored a nice meal. Sophia sighed quietly to herself. The hotel's AC had been cool and comfy, and now she was low-key reluctant to leave. She strolled out slowly, taking her wallet out while walking. Inside were 2 lonely 10-yuan bills. Guess it's time to live on dust and dreams. She had no clue when Nathaniel Connor would be back. Clutching her wallet, she started mentally counting the days. Paycheck was still a few days away. How was she even supposed to survive until then? Forget it all. Stop overthinking. Just grab some lunch first and fill your stomach. Sophia walked out of the hotel with big strides. The moment she stepped out of the revolving door, she suddenly stumbled, barely managing to steady herself by grabbing onto the wall. But before she could gather herself, a slap came flying straight at her face. "Lynn Sharon! You bitch! You shameless trash!" Sophia instantly caught Lily Hudson's wrist, her gaze turning sharp, and slapped her right back. Smack! She didn't hold back. The slap echoed loud and clear. Lily let out a scream and fell to the ground, completely rattled. "Ah, Sophia Williams, how dare you hit me? You really hit me!" Sophia didn't reply, just looked down at her coldly. Lily scrambled up with a loud screech, lunging straight at Sophia's face. But Sophia was ready. She leaned aside to dodge, then caught Lily's wrist with a firm grip as she came at her again. "Let go of me! Let go! Right now! If you want to ruin your public image, then by all means, keep acting crazy out here," Sophia said, shoving her off with force. Lily paused, realizing people nearby were already watching. Her face flushed red with anger. She quickly covered her face and snatched her sunglasses from the ground, slipping them back on. "Sophia, you bitch, you promised me. You said you wouldn't go near Oliver again, and now you're sneaking around seeing him behind my back, and on top of that, you hit me? I won't let this go, not ever. You done?" Lily pointed at Sophia, her hand trembling with rage. Sophia batted her finger away. "I don't appreciate being spoken to like that. First off, let me say it again. I want nothing to do with Oliver Bennett. Even if he were on his knees begging, I wouldn't give him the time of day. Second, that slap? Consider it a warning." "A warning? Who do you think you are to warn me?" "Oh, you're asking why?" Sophia let out a sarcastic laugh. "Lily Hudson, you really think I don't know it was you who trashed my place?" Lily's expression changed instantly. Her eyes darted around nervously. "I don't know what you're talking about." Sophia slowly pulled a necklace out of her bag. The moment Lily saw it, her face dropped. That's my necklace. Why do you have it?" "I was wondering the same thing. Why your little treasure ended up in my wrecked apartment." "I have no idea," Sophia snorted. "Lily, unless I'm mistaken, this necklace is from a New Year's limited collection by that high-end brand, right? Only 20 made nationwide. Each one has unique details, and every boutique keeps sales records. All I need to do is call the cops. Think they'll figure out everything real quick? Panic washed over Lily's face. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Breaking and entering and property damage too. I wonder how long you'd end up behind bars. And when that sweet innocent act of yours gets shattered on the news, think your career will survive? Lily finally cracked. She'd worked so hard to get a foothold in the industry. If her image tanked, it'd all be over. Everything she had now, she couldn't afford to lose it. "Give me back the necklace," she shouted, reaching out to grab it. As if. Sophia casually tossed the necklace back into her purse and looked her straight in the eye, cool and unbothered. "Damn it!" Lily was so mad she was nearly jumping in place. "Sophia Williams, what the hell do you want from me?" Chapter 78, The Airport Pickup. "What the hell do you want?" Sophia let out a cold laugh. "Shouldn't I be the one asking you that? Lily Hudson, didn't I make myself clear last time? You still dare to mess with my life? Did you forget what I warned you about?" Lily's heart skipped a beat. Of course she remembered. Last time, Sophia warned her if she dared ruin her relationship with Nathaniel, she'd go back to Oliver Bennett. No way. She couldn't let that happen. "Sophia, you're the one who broke the promise first. You secretly met up with Oliver. Don't think I didn't know. You two met at that cafe 3 days ago, so don't blame me." Sophia looked at her like she was out of her mind. "You followed Oliver?" "Don't make it sound so ugly. I'm just always keeping an eye on him." "Keeping an eye on him? Yeah, sure. If you trailed him, then you must have seen I didn't go there willingly." Lily fell silent. Yeah, she knew. She saw Sophia storm out of the cafe and swing her bag at Oliver. She knew Sophia wasn't into it. But so what? She still hated her. She hated how Sophia did nothing, yet Oliver still liked her. She hated that Sophia acted all aloof, but Oliver still chased after her. She couldn't understand what was so special about her. Yeah, Sophia was pretty, but Oliver had been around enough gorgeous women. Sophia wasn't even the hottest. Still, he never stopped caring about her. The thought made Lily's eyes burn. She glared at Sophia, fists clenched, voice trembling with rage. "What did you do to Oliver? Why won't he let you go? These past 2 years, I was there. I was the one getting drunk with him when he was heartbroken, the one helping him with his business. I did everything. Why can't he see that?" Sophia stayed calm. "You should probably ask him that question." "I swear I hate how damn composed you always are." "Then hate me all you want." Sophia gave her one last warning. "Lily, I don't care how much you hate me. This is my final warning. I'm not calling the cops for now, only because we go way back. But if you pull something like this again, don't expect me to hold back." "Sophia, I've said what I needed to say. Think it over." Not wasting another second, Sophia turned around and walked away. Lily stood frozen, watching her leave. Her lips were pressed so tightly they almost bled. Hate. She hated her. She'd hated her for so many years. This girl stole all the attention growing up, now even took the guy she loved for years. She wouldn't let her win. Never. A cold grin crept onto Lily's face. "Sophia, maybe I can't take you down myself, but someone else can. Next time, I'll make sure you pay for everything." By noon, a strong wind picked up. The sky quickly darkened as heavy clouds rolled in, covering what little sunlight there was. Just as the first raindrops fell, Sophia stepped into her apartment. The moment she closed the door, the rain poured like crazy. Phew. Sophia finally let out a breath of relief. Thank God she ran fast enough, or she'd be a drenched mess by now. The wind howled outside like it was trying to rip the trees out of the ground. Thunder rolled and lightning flashed across the gloomy sky that looked more like late evening than just 11 in the morning. Raindrops had started to sneak into the living room. She hurried over, slammed the front door shut, then rushed upstairs to make sure all the bedroom windows were closed tight. By the time she finished, rain was already pouring like someone up there tipped over a giant bucket. She grabbed a jacket and immediately pulled out her phone to call Nathaniel. He had texted earlier, right after she left the hotel, said he'd landed. But with this storm going on, who knows if the flight actually made it or where the hell he could be right now. But all that greeted her was a cold, robotic voice. "Sorry, the number you dialed is currently powered off." Off? That made her nerves spike. She tried not to think the worst, but she couldn't help it. It takes at least an hour to get back from the airport. And with this weather, she glanced outside, watching the downpour twist in the wind, the kind of storm where accidents are just waiting to happen. What if his phone was off because something already did? Her chest tightened with panic. She jumped up from the couch. Nope, no way. She was going to the airport. She scrambled around the house, scooping up whatever cash she could find, managed to scrape together a little over $100. That'll do! More than enough for a cab. She grabbed 2 umbrellas from the stand. But the second she opened one outside, the wind flipped it inside out. Sophia clenched her jaw, tossed the useless thing aside, slammed the door shut behind her, and took off running into the storm. Within seconds, she was soaked from head to toe. But right now, she didn't care. She flagged down the first taxi she could find and hopped in. All the way to the airport, her thumb didn't stop hitting redial, but same result. Phone still off. Driver, can we go faster? No can do, miss. Look at this weather. Visibility's awful, and my wipers can barely keep up with the rain. Speeding like this, we'll both end up in an accident. She gritted her teeth, looking out at the storm. Sheets of rain blurred the windows, lightning slicing the sky every so often. She knew he was right, but it was driving her nuts. Achoo. Got a towel in the back, miss. Use it if you want to dry off a bit. Thanks. What should have been an hour-long trip turned into 2 because of the storm. They passed by 2 car crashes along the way. Sophia's heart just kept sinking deeper. As soon as she got out, she bolted into the airport. The place was packed, travelers everywhere stranded by the rain. She tried Nathaniel's number again. Still off. She found his flight number on the digital board. It showed that his plane landed safely at Lixon City an hour and a half ago. Already touched down. Her gut twisted even more. If he landed, his phone should be on by now. Why wasn't it? She spent another full hour pacing around the terminal looking for him. Rain had eased up some outside, and the sky wasn't as dark as before. The crowd was finally thinning. Sophia was just about to go make another round when, out of the corner of her eye, she spotted him, Nathaniel, standing by the exit. Her heart just about leapt out of her chest. She was about to walk over when she saw it. There, slipping under his umbrella without hesitation, was a girl, pretty face, all dolled up, and she clung to his arm like she belonged there. And Nathaniel. He shrugged off his blazer, draped it over her shoulders like she was made of glass, tilted the umbrella toward her to shield her from the rain, then wrapped an arm around her and walked off. Just like that. With her. Out of the airport. Chapter 79. The day they split up. Sophia stood frozen as if struck by lightning. Her clothes were soaked, clinging tightly to her skin, and a chill seeped slowly into her bones. Her mind went blank. Without thinking, she picked up her pace, half running in the pouring rain. She stood there in the downpour, gripping her umbrella so tightly it was almost twisted out of shape. From a distance she saw the girl, bright-eyed and cheerful, probably around 160 centimeters tall. She tilted her head up to talk to Nathaniel, her face lit up with a smile. Nathaniel, towering over her, wore his usual indifferent and refined expression. His brows were slightly furrowed, looking serious as he spoke to the girl. Whatever he said made her giggle nonstop. Sophia tried to tell herself she must be mistaken, that couldn't be him, but those eyes, that face, they were all too familiar. She stood there, stunned, as she watched his car pull up. James sat in the passenger seat. Nathaniel quickly guided the girl into the car beside him. The rain hit her harder now, cold and sharp like needles, but Sophia felt nothing. Numb. Nathaniel, she always thought she knew him. He'd always kept a distance from other women, too reserved to be close to any of them. That's what James had said too. Except for her, until now. A bitter smile curled at her lips. She used to take pride in being the special one. Now she realized she wasn't special at all. When she finally decided to go back, she remembered she didn't even have a cent on her. Tried to call someone for help, only to find her phone was waterlogged and dead. She couldn't even tell how she managed to walk all the way back. Numb. The whole time. A trip that should have taken an hour by car took her over 5 hours on foot. At first, all that filled her head was Oliver's betrayal. She thought, so it's true after all. All men are the same. But those eyes, that face, they were all too familiar. She stood there, stunned, as she watched his car pull up. James sat in the passenger seat. Nathaniel, quickly guided the girl into the car beside him. The rain hit harder now, cold and sharp like needles, but Sophia felt nothing. Not one of them can be trusted. But as she calmed down, her thinking shifted. Maybe she misunderstood Nathaniel. No matter what she saw, she couldn't deny everything he'd done this past month. His warmth, his care, those had felt real. Maybe she should give him a chance to explain. She couldn't just convict him on one scene alone. So she came home. Her legs were so numb and sore she could barely lift them. By the time she got back, the rain had stopped and it was already dark out. She keyed in the code to open the villa gates and instinctively looked over at Nathaniel's parking spot. But it was empty, not a single trace of his car. Her heart sank before she could stop it. She took out her keys and opened the main door. Everything in the living room was exactly the way she'd left it. No signs that anyone had been here. Heh. A helpless laugh escaped her. She pushed open the door and stepped into the living room. Temperature inside was still steady and warm. Her clothes had started drying on the way back, but her hair clung to her face, damp and sticky. Without much thought, she went upstairs, took a hot shower. Even under the warm water, that cold feeling wouldn't go away. Meeting Nathaniel had felt like the one lucky turn in her messy life, like someone finally threw her a lifeline. But now, even that hope was gone. Her head pounded. She got dressed slowly, looked around the room, nothing she needed to take with her. Her smile turned even sadder. She went downstairs, hadn't eaten since morning, still hadn't eaten now. She was starving. Sophia quietly made herself a bowl of instant noodles. Woof woof! Charlie trotted over cheerfully, circling her feet. She scooped the little guy up into her arms, his warmth spreading into her chest. Holding him closer, Sophia felt her emotions loosen. Animals always knew when something was off. Charlie kept licking her palm gently, as if trying to comfort her without saying a word. Charlie. Woof, 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 woof. These past 2 years, thank God I had you. She picked out a bit of noodle to share with him, but Charlie nudged the bowl away, choosing instead to curl up in her arms. Don't worry, I'm fine, she whispered. Woof, woof, woof. Sophia felt a little better. She patted his head, lips curving into a faint smile. Good boy. No matter what, Charlie wouldn't turn his back on her. To him, she was always number one. Halfway through her noodles, the familiar sound of a car engine echoed from outside. Sophia froze for a second, then kept eating like nothing happened. Not long after, the sound of footsteps approached the living room. Then came James's voice, confused. Huh? Mr. Connor, is Mrs. Williams not home? Why are all the lights off? Click. With a soft sound, the lights in the living room flared on. Woof, 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 woof. Following the noise, Nathaniel and James caught sight of Sophia sitting in the dining room. Mrs. Williams, it's so dark. Why didn't you turn on the lights? I thought you weren't home, James chuckled. Where else would I be? She replied flatly. Totally missing the tension, James smiled again. I'll go pack Mr. Connor's stuff. He left, and the large dining room fell into silence with just Sophia and Nathaniel there. Sophia kept her head down, still eating. The smell of instant noodles filled the air. Why are you eating this junk? Nathaniel walked over, placing a hand over hers. Stop eating that. Only then did she look up. Her eyes were calm, cold even, with a trace of doubt that made Nathaniel frown instantly. What's wrong? Her gaze flicked to the door behind him, but other than Nathaniel and James, no one else was there. She looked him in the eyes. Do you have anything to explain? Nathaniel frowned deeper. I should have been home by lunch, but it started raining hard. Got stuck at the airport for ages. Sophia's eyes gradually dimmed. She picked up her chopsticks again and went back to her noodles. Seriously, enough of this. This stuff's terrible for your body. Nathaniel moved to stop her, then noticed how freezing her hands were. His face tensed when he took in her short sleeves and shorts. It's cold and raining. Why aren't you wearing more? Any other day, she might have been touched by his concern. But right now, not even close. Avoiding his eyes, she gently pulled her hand back. What's going on? Nothing. Sophia, you were asking about the noodles just now, right? She cut him off. Yeah, they're crap. I know. Then why? I'm broke. Nathaniel's face tightened in confusion. He'd given her a card. He remembered that clearly. Right as the thought crossed his mind, Sophia pulled the card from her pocket and slid it across the table to him. His frown deepened. Sophia, I never touched a cent in here. Giving it back now. Sophia! His voice turned sharp. Why not spend my money? She finally looked at him, words slow but firm. Because I don't want any money tied between us once we go our separate ways. Chapter 80, Cold War. Because I don't want to get tangled with you over money when we split up later. Split up. She was actually thinking about breaking up with him. Nathaniel Connor was fuming. Since the day they got married, he believed he had done everything he could for Sophia. He'd imagined growing old hand in hand with her. And now she wanted to leave him? His temples throbbed. He clenched his fists, trying to keep it together. Why? Just before his business trip, Sophia wasn't like this. Why the sudden change? Sophia gave a bitter smile. She hadn't even started questioning him, and yet he was acting like he was the one being wronged. No reason. I'm just tired. I'm gonna rest. She pushed away the instant noodles in front of her, picked up Charlie in her arms, and walked straight upstairs without sparing Nathaniel another glance. He didn't stop her. Instead, his eyes turned cold. Every inch of him gave off a terrifying aura that made anyone instinctively want to run. James Reed came in with the last of the files and happened to witness Nathaniel like this. Sir, he peeked nervously at Nathaniel, then pointed upstairs. I just saw Mrs. Connor. She didn't look too happy. Did you guys fight? Get out. James froze. Yep, shouldn't have asked. Great. Now he was the punching bag again. On the verge of tears, he turned to leave. Hold on. Yes, sir? Find out everything Sophia's been up to lately. I want a full report. On it. Nathaniel had to know what went down in the past few days while he was away that made her flip this drastically. Sophia sat curled up with Charlie, her eyes dry but stinging. Woof, 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 woof. Charlie, do you think men ever really change? I thought Nathaniel was different, but why did he let me down too? She had given him a chance to explain, but he never did. It was like a huge hole had been punched through her chest, cold wind rushing in relentlessly. She held Charlie tighter, hoping for some warmth. Woof, woof. Mom's just bad at life, huh? Terrible taste in men. I really thought I could spend forever with Oliver. After 5 years of dating, I truly believed we'd end up married, live a quiet, simple life. But he humiliated me on our big day. And then came Nathaniel. I thought he was someone special, thought he was different. But now, this whole life of mine really feels like a bad joke. Woof, woof. Charlie licked her palm quietly, comforting in his own way. Sophia let out a soft laugh and stroked his head, not sure if she was trying to cheer herself up or the dog. Don't worry, everything will pass. It always does. An hour later, Nathaniel sat in his study downstairs, listening to James's report with a face that got darker by the second. So, Sophia met up with Oliver Bennett this afternoon. James sighed. Yes, she went to Anran Hotel around noon. She saw Oliver. Crash! Nathaniel flipped the desk in rage. James held his breath, silent. So that was it. It was Oliver all along. Nathaniel had messaged Sophia in the morning saying he'd be home, and she responded normally. Yet only a few hours later, when he walked through the front door, her attitude had totally changed. So it was all because of Oliver Bennett. Nathaniel Connor's face turned dark as thunder, fists clenched so tightly his knuckles cracked. Boss! Get out! James Reed hesitated, clearly worried, but eventually nodded and quietly left the study. Nathaniel let out a sharp breath and scoffed at himself. Of course. How could he ever compete with Oliver? Sophia spent 5 years with that guy. 5 whole years. How many 5 years does a woman even have to give? She handed over the best part of her youth to Oliver. And despite whatever happened 2 years ago, she clearly never got over him. Hell, Oliver had probably planted roots in her heart ages ago. And Nathaniel? He was still naively hoping she'd moved on. How pathetic was that? Even worse. Just because she sided with him on that acquisition vote, he actually thought he'd started to matter more to her than Oliver. What a joke. The more he thought about it, the more it burned. With a roar, he stormed around the study, smashing anything within reach. Books, vases, photo frames, whatever could be broken was. If he didn't let it out now, he feared he'd explode the second he saw Sophia again. Crash. Bang clatter. After nearly 30 minutes of destruction, the study floor was a minefield of broken porcelain and splintered wood. But his temper hadn't cooled even a bit. His chest heaved with every breath, eyes bloodshot with rage. James? Yes, sir? Hearing his name, James immediately pushed the door open and entered, alert. Hotel. Now. James blinked. Right now? Do I need to repeat myself? James jolted. I'll arrange it right away. Nathaniel slumped into the chair, exhausted. He didn't want this. He didn't want to hurt Sophia, even now, especially now. So until he cooled down, it was best if they just didn't see each other. Without another word, Nathaniel walked out the door, James close behind. Upstairs, tucked in bed, Sophia Williams sat frozen, her arms wrapped tightly around Charlie. She heard the engine start up, then the car pulling away, then silence. He left. He must have gone to meet whoever she saw in those texts. Well, isn't that what rich men do? Houses all over the place, women too, nothing surprising. Still, why did it hurt so bad? She hugged herself tighter, as if that could ease the ache in her chest. Her face felt wet. Only when she touched it did she realize she'd been crying quietly, the tears falling without her even noticing. Maybe this was it. Maybe after they both had time to calm down, they'd sit down and finally call it quits. The next few days fell smack in the middle of the May Day holiday, but for Nathaniel and Sophia, it was anything but restful. Sophia waited. She wanted a proper talk, a real heart-to-heart with him, but ever since he walked out that night, he'd barely been home during the day. He still came back every night, late, and Sophia, half asleep, could hear the distant hum of the car in the driveway, but by the time she got up, he and James were already gone. She never caught him, not even a glimpse. The house suddenly felt huge, too big, quiet in a way that echoed, and lonely. Her head throbbed constantly. She wasn't even sure how these days had passed, blurred and stretched, painful and endless. What tangled her up even more was, even if she didn't see him, Nathaniel never forgot about her. Every day on the dot, meals were delivered to the villa, 3 times a day, no fail. Faced with that kind of care, all she could do was give a bitter smile. What is this even supposed to mean? And so the two of them remained locked in silence, a cold war with no sign of an end. It dragged on until the holiday ended and work was back on the schedule. Sophia hadn't slept the whole night. Her head felt like it split open. She rubbed her temples trying to focus, then pulled on fresh clothes for the office. No matter what, she had to talk things out with Nathaniel Connor after work today. Chapter 81, Fired. Sophia got to the office super early that day. Wow, Chief Editor, you're in early today. She just smiled without saying anything. Yeah, definitely earlier than usual. The official start time was 9 a.m., and she was well known for showing up right on the dot, never once appeared before 8:40. But now, she glanced at the clock in the office. 8:10. Morning. Morning. Most of the editorial team hadn't arrived yet. It wasn't working hours anyway. Chloe leaned over and started chatting away excitedly about the fun stuff she did during the short holiday. Sophia half listened without much thought. Chloe kept going, and then suddenly grabbed Sophia's hand. Oh my gosh! Chief, are you sick? Your hand is burning up. Sophia blinked. Really? To be fair, she had been feeling kind of off. Headaches, body fatigue, but she hadn't taken it seriously. She touched her own forehead, but couldn't really tell. Girl, if you're running a fever head to toe, of course your hand won't feel it. Don't move. Chloe brought her palm to Sophia's forehead. Whoa, burning. Sophia, I swear you've got a fever. It rained like crazy in Lixon City the other day. Now the temp's bouncing back up. Classic weather trap. You've probably caught something. Heavy rain. Sophia couldn't stop her mind from drifting to that stormy day. She cast her eyes down. I'm fine. Don't push yourself, okay? Everyone's just back from the break. There's work piled up for sure. But if you're really sick, just take the day off. I'm good. Won't affect anything. Chloe saw how determined she looked and sighed, then joked, no wonder you're the boss. Hard-working people always go further. Sophia gave a small shake of her head and said nothing more. At 9, the usual morning meeting started. Sophia spotted Nathaniel, still in his crisp suit, still expressionless as he went over the same routine stuff. She couldn't focus on a single word he said. Her head felt muddled. When the meeting wrapped up, she instinctively glanced over at him, only to find he was already walking away with James and his secretary. Her feet slowed to a stop. Back from a holiday, no one was in serious work mode yet, everyone moving a bit slow. Sophia watched the buzzing young girls around the room, their faces full of energy. She didn't say a thing. Just before lunch, one of the girls came dashing back inside. "You guys, hot gossip, big news. What's up?" The girl's eyes sparkled. "So I went to the finance department to check up on some payment stuff for our authors. And guess what I heard?" What? It's about our icy cold CEO." Sophia froze. "The CEO?" Yep, chief editor. Want to guess what I found out?" The others groaned. "Oh, come on, spill it already." "All right, so while I was in finance, people were whispering like crazy about this morning. Apparently, the CEO's secretary, yeah, that gorgeous sassy one who's super efficient, she showed up today in a crazy sexy outfit and tried to seduce him in his office." Everyone gasped. Sophia's mind went blank. Instantly, the image of this morning's meeting flashed in her mind. His secretary in a plunging V-neck sheer blouse, topped with an apricot blazer. She did look absolutely stunning, not gonna lie. And yeah, it was kinda seductive. Sophia bit her lip. A girl giggled and said, "Guess what? That assistant Miss Luo didn't stand a chance. Our CEO, he kicked her out of his office without even blinking. No mercy, just told her to leave. And get this, he didn't stop there. She was fired on the spot." "No way. Seriously? Wasn't she sent over from headquarters? She's drop-dead gorgeous, and even she didn't make the cut. OMG, what kind of women does our CEO go for then?" Someone added, "Didn't we hear before that he's not into women like that? Maybe that rumor's actually true?" The office buzzed with gossip and excitement. Sophia's head throbbed even harder. "All right, that's enough chatter, back to work," she said warily. Everyone awkwardly chuckled, sticking out their tongues in embarrassment before shuffling back to their desks. But Sophia's mind was no longer on work. Unbidden, her thoughts drifted back to that girl she saw at the airport. The girl looked like she was around 16 or 17. Bright eyes, perfect teeth, a cheerful smile, so fresh and innocent, like a lily just starting to bloom. That must be the type Nathaniel Connor likes. Before she knew it, it was lunchtime. "Editor Sophia, coming downstairs with us to eat?" "You guys go ahead. I've still got a few things to finish up." "All right then, we'll head out first." Once everyone left, Sophia got up too. But as soon as she stood, everything in front of her went dark. Her legs went weak, and she had to brace herself on the desk to keep from collapsing. Yeah, this definitely wasn't just skipping meals. She was really sick. With a low sigh, she realized it'd been years since she'd had a fever. She thought all the dizziness and blurry vision these past few days were just because she kept skipping meals. Wouldn't be the first time hunger left her dizzy and drained. Phew. Once the vertigo passed, she steadied herself and left her office. She headed straight to the CEO's office. Most of the staff had already gone off to lunch, so the hallways were quiet. When she reached the tightly shut door, she already knew Nathaniel was inside. He hated cafeteria food. James usually ordered food from a hotel and had it brought to his office. Sophia stood at the door for a moment, took a deep breath, and knocked. "Who is it?" came James's voice from inside. "It's me." The door opened a few seconds later and James stepped out. "Ma'am." His tone was cold and distant. Sophia didn't take it to heart. After all, James was Nathaniel's man. "Is Nathaniel in?" "He is," James replied, but then quickly added, "But he doesn't want to see you." A sharp pang hit her chest. Sophia let out a bitter laugh. She really didn't get it. How was it that Nathaniel, clearly the one in the wrong, could act like this toward her? Was he finally done pretending to care? "I have something important to tell him." He said it's work hours. "If what you want to talk about is personal, it'll have to wait until after hours." James's tone was firm, even a bit cold. He'd grown up with Nathaniel, practically raised in the same household. His father was the driver for Nathaniel's mother. He'd been groomed for this role from a young age. No one knew the CEO better. And since no woman had ever been able to mean something to Nathaniel, 10 years of patience had finally led to something. James couldn't help but feel upset seeing how things turned out now. "Ma'am, please, head back." Sophia didn't expect there'd come a day when even seeing Nathaniel would be such a challenge. But if she didn't talk to him today, would he just keep avoiding her? "James, ma'am, don't make this harder for me." "I won't. Just tell Nathaniel that what I want to say, it's something he'll want to hear." Chapter 82, Let's Divorce. "Sorry, ma'am." "Let her in," came Nathaniel Connor's deep and gravelly voice from the office. James Reed hesitated for a second before pushing the door open to let Sophia Williams inside. Inside the office, Nathaniel sat on the couch with his eyes closed, leaning back like he hadn't moved in hours. The coffee table in front of him was stacked with takeout boxes, none of them opened. The AC was blasting, and the chill made Sophia shiver. "Take a seat." Nathaniel opened his eyes and glanced at the couch across from him. Sophia didn't say anything and sat down quietly. "Have you eaten?" She paused, not hungry. Without reacting, Nathaniel started unpacking the food in front of him, taking each dish out and putting them on the table. "I am. Talk later. Let's eat first." "You eat then. I'll wait." He handed her a pair of chopsticks. Sophia bit her lip, staring silently at his outstretched hand. It hung there for a moment before she finally grabbed them, but didn't move to open anything. Was she really this eager to end things with him? Frustration flared in his eyes. He suddenly flung the chopsticks onto the table. Clack! The sound struck like a slap. Both of their hearts dropped. "Didn't you have something to say? Go ahead." Sophia had gone over her words a dozen times, but facing Nathaniel now, she found herself completely blank. She hated this part of herself, soft, hesitant. She could cut ties with Oliver Bennett after 5 years without blinking. But with Nathaniel, someone she'd barely known for a month, she couldn't summon that same resolve. But he hadn't come home in days. He was clearly avoiding her. What point was there in pretending anymore? Sophia clenched her fists, eyes shut tight. "Let's get a divorce." Silence. Utter silence, like the room had frozen over, like time itself stopped moving. Sophia slowly looked up, only to see a version of Nathaniel she'd never seen before. His face dark, eyes bloodshot, jaw tense. It was like he was fighting to keep from exploding. "What did you just say?" "I said let's." Before she could finish, Nathaniel lunged forward with fire in his eyes. He grabbed her tightly and pressed his lips against hers, hard, brutal. That hurts. It really did." Nathaniel was rough, like a cornered beast. His kiss was more of a bite, and she tasted blood quickly. No matter how much she pushed or hit him, he wasn't backing off. Sophia beat against his chest with everything she had, which only seemed to flip a switch in him. All he could think about was that she was leaving him because of Oliver. He hadn't come home because he couldn't trust himself around her, afraid he'd snap, afraid she'd say something that would break them for real. But she'd said it anyway. Divorce? No way. It had taken him so long to get her into his life. No chance he was letting her walk away. Not now, not ever. Out of his mind, Nathaniel kissed her harder, biting down again and again. Pain? Good. He wanted her to hurt just a little, so she'd know what kind of pain he was carrying inside. Maybe if he'd never had her, he wouldn't be this obsessed. But after spending over a month with her day in and day out, he had her smile, her affection. Now she wanted to pull all that back? No way. He wasn't letting go. "Let go of me." "Not happening." Sophia could feel Nathaniel's grip tighten as he shouted, pain filling her eyes. Tears spilled down her cheeks, trailing all the way to where their lips met. Nathaniel tasted the bitterness and froze. As he loosened his hold, he realized she was already in tears. "Sophia," she shoved him away hard. Instinctively, he tried to reach for her, but she scrambled to the corner of the couch, like she couldn't get far enough. "You're a jerk, Nathaniel. A complete piece of crap." "Yeah, fine. I'm a jerk. It's my fault." The tears wrecked him. He had sworn he'd never make her cry again, but look at her now, devastated because of him. "I'm sorry." He moved close, trying to wipe her tears. She yanked her head away, glaring at him. "Do you think I'm some toy, that I come when you want and leave when you're done?" "I never thought that, but that's exactly how you treat me," she screamed through her sobs. "I want a divorce. I don't want a dime from you. Keep all your money, your stupid stuff, everything. Just let me go." "No, don't say that word." Her whole body trembled. "Then what do you want from me?" "I'm not divorcing you, period." So he won't divorce her, yet he's out there with other women? What does he think she is? Furniture? That thought made her blood boil. "Nathaniel, don't push me." "You're the one pushing me." "I hate guys like you," she snapped, her voice climbing. "You don't love me, but you won't let me go either. If we split, you'd be free to go chase whoever you want. I'm giving you that chance. I already backed off this much. What else do you want from me? For me to fall in love with you, rip out my heart and hand it to you? Nathaniel was stunned. What was she even talking about? Him finding someone else? I thought you were different, she whispered, shaking. Even without love, I believed we could at least be decent to each other and make it work. But you ruined that. I'm already stepping aside for you. Isn't that enough? I don't want anything from you. Just disappear from my life. From now on, let's pretend we never even met. What did he ruin? What did she mean stepping aside? Nathaniel's brain raced. Something wasn't adding up here. He grabbed her shoulders hard. Sophia, what are you even talking about? Still playing dumb. You disgust me, Nathaniel. At least be man enough to admit what you did. Her fury snapped. She tried to stand, but her legs gave out. The next second, she went limp and collapsed. Sophia! Nathaniel caught her just in time. Her face was flushed, eyes shut tight. She'd passed out cold. Even through her clothes, he could feel the heat rolling off her body. She had a fever, and not just a mild one. This was serious. He was so caught up in the fight, he hadn't even noticed how unwell she looked. Now panic surged through him. He scooped her into his arms and rushed to the door. Sir! James, start the car! We're going to the hospital! Chapter 83. Ela Flynn. Sophia had been unconscious for a full 24 hours. Nathaniel stayed by her bedside that entire time, never leaving her side. But even after an entire day and night, she still hadn't stirred. When is she going to wake up? In the hospital room, Ethan, dressed in his usual white coat, rolled his eyes. Would you chill out already? Nathaniel gave him an icy glare. Ethan raised his hands in surrender. He walked over, took Sophia's temperature again, and showed the digital thermometer to Nathaniel. Look, 36. 8 degrees Celsius. Fever's gone. Seriously, it was just a flu that got dragged on too long and turned into pneumonia. Was it really necessary to get a plane to track me down and haul me here? Just a flu? Nathaniel's eyes turned even colder. Okay, I'll shut up. Happy now? When is she going to wake up? Nathaniel's voice remained tense. The IV had sedatives in it. She's been asleep a whole day, so she should be waking up any minute now. Ethan kicked back on the sofa in the private room. Aside from James, no one else was around. Glancing at Sophia, he clicked his tongue. I mean, she's not even insanely pretty or anything. What's got you so hung up all these years? That earned him another deadly look from Nathaniel, sharp enough to slice through steel. Still can't joke, huh? You want a vacation in Africa or something? Ethan shrank back immediately. Geez, chill, man. Figures. Always threatening him. He'd only just gotten back from a remote assignment last month, thanks to Nathaniel. Not that it was his fault. His mom, bored and concerned about his single status, had secretly set up a blind date. How was he supposed to know it'd be with Sophia Williams of all people? Of course he checked after hearing the name and confirmed it was her, then instantly told Nathaniel. Still got punished for it, though. Last month, Nathaniel had tossed him into some remote village to play country dock. Totally innocent, okay? When is she gonna wake up? That's the 38th time today. I told you, fever's down, and unless it spikes again, she's fine. So why isn't she awake yet? The meds are almost out of her system. She'll wake in under an hour, mark my words. Nathaniel's expression finally eased up a little. He sat next to the bed, gently holding Sophia's hand, eyes locked on her face like he was scared she might disappear the second he blinked. Sophia lay there, pale and unmoving, lips dry and chapped. Nathaniel picked up the water cup, dipped a cotton swab, and gently moistened her lips. Ethan stared. Seriously? Was this really the same cold-blooded Nathaniel Connor he knew? The guy who didn't hesitate to ruin someone's life if they pissed him off? Ethan rubbed his eyes hard. Quit rubbing. It's real, James said, clearly used to it. He's been like this recently? Pretty much. No freaking way. Ethan always figured even if someone cracked that frozen heart of Nathaniel's, he'd still act all distant and brooding, letting women chase him. But this was next level. Dude must really be in love. Nathaniel's movements were a bit clumsy, but so careful. Then Sophia's eyelids fluttered slightly. She's waking up. Ethan spotted it too. You can leave now. What? Ethan shot up, offended. If Sophia hears your name, she'll put 2 and 2 together about that blind date. Ethan froze. Seriously? Damn, so he was just used and tossed aside like it was nothing. Nathaniel, Sophia, brace yourself when you see him. Ethan muttered, You win. No arguing with you. These past few days, this was the first solid sleep Sophia had gotten. When she woke up, there was no more feverish chill creeping over her. She slowly opened her eyes to a sea of white. White ceiling, white walls, and a white blanket. Where even was she? Her body felt weak all over. She forced herself upright and spotted the IV needle taped to the back of her hand. Wait, was this a hospital? There was a sudden noise at the door, and right after that, it opened. Standing there was Nathaniel, and behind him a girl. Sophia froze on the spot. It was that girl, the one she ran into at the airport, the one who looked way too close to Nathaniel. The girl practically bounced into the room. With each skip, her ponytail swayed cheerfully behind her. She was pretty, no doubt about it. Natural look, soft, rosy skin, big eyes, high nose bridge, and a tiny mole at the tip of her nose that somehow made her look even more cute. She was wearing a white cinched waist dress. Nothing fancy, but she made it look classy. Even from Sophia's perspective, she couldn't find a single flaw. No wonder Nathaniel would like her. Sophia clutched the blanket tightly. Was he seriously bringing this girl here just to rub it in her face? Her eyes burned, but she lifted her chin, refusing to let herself look weak. She slowly sat up and turned her face away. "You're awake?" Nathaniel asked. Sophia kept her lips pressed together in silence. He walked right over to her side, checking on her with worry written all over his face. "You've been out for more than 24 hours. How are you feeling? Does anything still hurt? Are you hungry? Need water?" Nathaniel, she was startled by how hoarse her voice came out. He immediately poured her a cup of warm water and held it out to her. "Don't talk yet. Drink this first." But she turned away. She didn't want anything from him. "Sophia, if you've got something to say, just say it," she cut him off. "I don't have anything to say." "Then don't waste any more of our time," she said coldly. "What time is it?" 2 in the afternoon. "Perfect," she said with a scratchy voice. "The civil office opens again at 2:30. Let's get packed, should still make it." "Sophia!" His expression hardened. She tried to get off the bed anyway. "You're not even stable on your feet yet. The doctor said you need to stay in bed." While they stood locked in an awkward standoff, the girl walked over, blinking curiously at Sophia. When their eyes met, she brightened and flashed a wide smile, showing off perfectly aligned white teeth. "Hi!" Sophia shut her eyes and ignored her. Seriously? Mistresses these days were this bold now? Just as she had that bitter thought, the girl whined dramatically. "Uncle Nathaniel, she doesn't seem to like me." "Uncle?" Sophia's eyes shot open, and there she was, the girl clinging to Nathaniel's arm like an octopus, cheek practically stuck to his shoulder. When she noticed Sophia looking over, she cheekily stuck her tongue out. That felt like a slap to the face. She could feel her eyes sting. There was sadness, sure, but mostly she was furious. "Cut it out," Nathaniel scolded. "I'm not doing anything," the girl huffed, hands on her hips. "Are you saying you don't love me anymore?" "Isla Flynn. All right, I'm done teasing, seriously." She finally let go of Nathaniel and skipped over to Sophia's bedside, beaming widely as she stretched out her hand. "Hi, future auntie. I'm Isla Flynn, Uncle Nathaniel's favorite niece. I've heard loads about you. Be nice to me, okay?" Chapter 84, That Wild Misunderstanding. "Wait, what? Uncle? Niece?" Sophia's eyes snapped wide open. What did you just say?" "Nice to meet you, I guess." The sentence before that. "I'm Isla Flynn, Uncle Nate's absolute favorite niece." "Your uncle is who?" Isla blinked those big eyes and casually pointed at Nathaniel. "You mean him? Honestly, swear on it. No returns, no exchanges." "Sophia, are you okay?" Nathaniel reached out and gently held her hand when he saw her stunned face. "She's really your niece?" Nathaniel nodded. "Sophia." "Uncle, is Auntie completely out of it or what?" Nathaniel shot Isla a cold glare, and she immediately shut up, well, for about 2 seconds. Then she burst out, chattering nonstop. "Auntie, is it just that you've never seen a girl as adorable and stunning as me before? Totally understandable. I mean, come on, I'm like the full package. Flowers bloom, birds sing, cars brake for me. You won't believe this, but I had to sneak out just to come to Lixon City. Uncle Nate didn't even tell the family he got married. It wasn't until he popped back over to Linjiang recently that I finally found out I had a new aunt. And guess what? I wanted to come meet you, but my dear uncle insisted I'd freak you out or something. Do I look scary? Seriously. Also, Get this, I flew to Lixen behind their backs. Uncle tried to be extra by booking me a first-class ticket, and I sneakily switched to economy. But he still found me when I landed and tried shipping me straight back to Linjiang. Luckily, I'm quick on my feet, or I wouldn't even be sitting here with you now. Sophia just sat there, looking at the excited girl babbling away, completely dumbfounded. So wait a sec, this whole drama was just one big dumb mix-up? She actually threatened to divorce Nathaniel over this? No wonder he was so upset. Sophia's face flushed an instant bright red. If I hadn't followed Uncle James and found out where Auntie was staying, I might not have seen you at all. Ela pouted at Nathaniel and plopped down next to Sophia. Auntie, are you feeling better? As soon as I heard you were sick, I rushed straight here. Uncle was literally about to drag me out just now, but luckily I guilt-tripped him with great-grandpa and grandma's names. Otherwise, who knows when you'd get to see my adorable face. Oh, right, Auntie. Did you just say you were headed to the registration office with Uncle Nate? Wait, are you guys fighting? Did he make you mad? I gotta say, sure, he looks all serious and scary with that poker face, but once he's decided on someone, he's totally loyal. No joke. Isla Flynn, are you done yet? I'm done. James, take her back to the hotel. No way. Isla immediately clung to Sophia's hand and looked up with big puppy eyes. Auntie, don't you think I'm super cute? Sophia nodded blankly. Then how could you let a precious cutie like me stay at some sketchy hotel? You know how gross hotel beds are? Thousands of strangers have used them. And don't even get me started on the pillows. Germ Central. And don't get me started on the food. I don't want to go to a hotel. Auntie, pretty please ask Uncle James to let me stay with you guys. I promise I'll make you desserts every day. My cakes are amazing. Sophia's mind was still spinning. Oh, Auntie. Okay. Memoir, Isla squealed with glee, hugged Sophia tight, and planted a kiss on her cheek. Ha, I knew I was irresistible. Auntie, I'll go home first and wait for you. Sophia touched her cheek where she'd just been kissed, still a bit dazed. Once James and Isla left, the hospital room fell silent, leaving only Nathaniel and Sophia inside. They sat facing each other, wide-eyed and speechless. You go first. No, you go first. They blurted out at the same time. Nathaniel let out a soft chuckle. You're not mad, are you? Mad about what? That kid always gets real chummy with people. I was worried you might feel uncomfortable meeting her. Sophia cleared her throat. She's really your niece? Nathaniel raised a brow. Want me to bring out the family register or something? Ah, her face flushed in an instant, and she quickly turned her back, lying down to hide the awkwardness creeping up. Sophia, about what you said in the office yesterday, did something get twisted between us? Sophia pulled the blanket over her head, saying nothing. Ugh, so embarrassing. She'd actually thought Isla was Nathaniel's little girlfriend. What a soap opera-level misunderstanding. Head under the covers, she felt like her face was burning up. Sophia, I'm tired. I want to lie down a bit. Sophia, if something's on your mind, don't bottle it up. Can we just talk it out, please? I really don't get girls most of the time. Isla's different from most, and I can never read her too well. Sophia? Carefully, she tugged down the blanket just a tad, revealing only her eyes that darted around, avoiding his. Voice shaky, she mumbled, I went to the airport to pick you up on the 3rd. Nathaniel's brows furrowed. He'd had James run a check on her schedule, but weirdly enough, nothing showed up about the airport. A light bulb seemed to go off in his mind. His expression softened instantly. Then what? He asked. And then, I saw you with a girl, looking pretty close. Nathaniel's lips curled into a slight smile, clearly amused. And then? I thought you were into someone else. You have that little faith in me? I wanted to hear your explanation. Her voice dropped lower with each word. It was really late when I walked home, and you weren't there, so I thought. Then when you came back, I was waiting to hear what you had to say, but you just didn't say anything. You walked back? That's not the point. So you lost hope, walked all the way home from the airport, got caught in the rain, and that's why you ended up sick with pneumonia? Nathaniel felt a mix of relief and heartache. Relief that the divorce talk wasn't because of Oliver, heartache over how she must have felt that day, going through all that alone. He gently took her hand. What are you doing? That day, my flight got delayed in Linjiang. Isla messed with my phone, and it didn't turn back on for ages. When it finally did, I called you immediately. But your phone was already off by then. Sophia said quietly, my phone got water damaged. It broke. I dropped Isla off at her hotel and rushed back to find you at home. But you weren't there, and I couldn't reach you. I ended up searching everywhere with James. By the time we got home that night, you'd already returned. Okay, stop. She dove back under the blanket. Even without him finishing, she knew the rest. She jumped to conclusions and backed him into a corner for nothing. Sophia, what now? Nathaniel suddenly pulled her into his arms. His breath was warm against her ear, his voice low and steady. Trust me, I'm not going anywhere. Not now, not ever. Chapter 85, A Way Out. Even after Sophia's fever broke, Nathaniel insisted she stay in the hospital for a couple more days, just to be safe. He took the doctor's orders way too seriously and ignored all the side eyes Sophia threw his way, basically forcing her to stay in that hospital bed another 2 days. 2 days later, told you I was fine, but knew you just had to drag it out. I've always had a good immune system, okay? Back when I was living solo in Lixin City, I had a 41-degree fever once. Took some medicine, slept it off, and boom, all better. Sophia hopped off the bed, stretching out her stiff limbs. Nathaniel took her hand, firm and warm. But you're not alone anymore. Sophia blinked, stunned. That simple sentence hit her right in the chest, lighting a warmth that slowly spread across her body. She squinted with a smile, eyes crinkling with joy. Nathaniel's gaze softened. He adored when she smiled like that. It reminded him of the first time he saw her 10 years ago, bright and dazzling like the June sun. Just one look burned itself into memory. He gently ruffled her hair. You should smile like that more often. Sophia playfully pulled her head away from his hand, giving him an exaggerated glare. Hey, I'm not Charlie. James stood off to the side, dead silent. These two were just showing off their love like it was a competition or something. Shaking his head quietly, he ducked out to take care of the discharge papers. Once they left the hospital, sunlight outside was just as brutal and blinding as before. Sophia darted into the car without hesitation. Aunt Sophia, sit in the back with Uncle Nathaniel. I'll ride up front with Uncle James, Isla chirped. Sophia paused. Even 2 days later, she still wasn't used to being called Aunt Sophia. The title just sounded wrong. She awkwardly slid into the back seat, Nathaniel following close behind. As soon as he sat down, his hand automatically reached for hers. Sophia gave him a soft look and smiled. He smiled back. They didn't say a word, but the air between them was warm and sweet. Sophia realized that this little misunderstanding they'd gone through had actually brought them closer. The car rolled onto the road, and Ila's chatty voice filled the space. Uncle James, do you have a girlfriend yet? 'Cause listen, you're already 28. You know what 28 means? Ancient history, practically expired. Even Uncle Nathaniel's married now. It's time to settle down. James twitched hard at the corner of his mouth. He shot her a glance and said, That's not even how you use ancient history. Ela waved it off. Close enough. Point is, you should really find someone soon. I mean, back in the day, when Uncle Nathaniel had 0 women around, and you two were always glued together, people honestly thought he was into guys. Sophia couldn't hold it in. She burst out laughing as she glanced at both James and Nathaniel. Sheesh, not gonna lie. The two of them did sort of look like a couple. Nathaniel was tall and broad-shouldered, always giving off those cold, aloof vibes. James, on the other hand, was pale, lean, and bookish. One tough and stoic, the other soft and refined. Totally gave off classic BL vibes. Ha! Aunt Sophia, you agree with me, don't you? Isla craned her neck to look back, still giggling. I'm telling you, great-grandma and great-grandpa used to stress so hard thinking Uncle Nathaniel was into men. You should have seen how relieved they were when they heard you two got married, like genuinely thrilled. Sophia blushed so hard she panicked. Wait, how are great-grandma and grandpa? Are they easy to talk to? Super easygoing, seriously. My great-grandparents have been dying for Uncle to tie the knot for ages, but he's never really paid attention to it. Now, as long as he ends up with a woman, they'll totally be over the moon. As long as it's a woman, was that even possible? Sophia couldn't help glancing at Nathaniel. He happened to be looking her way too. He gave a little cough and squeezed her hand. Don't worry, my grandparents are going to love you. Isla nodded enthusiastically. Totally, they'll absolutely adore you. While the vibe around Sophia was warm and cozy, Oliver's side was way tenser. As soon as he got back to Linjiang, the driver took him straight home. Dad, who did we even piss off? In the study, Jonathan looked like he was about to explode. His gray hairs seemed to pop out more by the second. When he saw Oliver walk in, he finally let out a breath. We've got nothing. No clue who's coming after us. Our goods. Nobody's buying. Even our loyal clients have cut ties. I've been digging these past few days, but it's like hitting a wall. What about reaching out to the older clients? Tried. They all seem extra spooked and won't say a word. Oliver's expression shifted. They did business with some serious big players. If even those companies were keeping their mouths shut, then whoever was behind this had to be insanely powerful. So, what now? Oliver, you're our only shot right now. He blinked. Me? You heard me. Oliver paused just a beat before everything clicked. Someone was definitely targeting their family business, and with precision too. Nobody would go to all that trouble without a serious grudge. They had no idea who the enemy was. The only person who might be able to help them now was Natalie Connor. Dad, got it. I'll go talk to Natalie right away. Jonathan looked relieved and gave his shoulder a pat. I'm getting too old for this. The future of the family's business is in your hands now. Oliver felt like a ton of bricks had just landed on his shoulders. Don't worry, Dad. I'll figure this out. Good. Go now. 30 minutes later, Oliver pulled up to the Connor estate. Looking up, the first thing he saw was the giant iron gate with Connor Estate gleaming on it in bold letters. As one of the top families in Linjiang, the Connors had bought a massive piece of land in the wealthiest part of the city to build their estate. Oliver had been here a few times before, and the place never failed to amaze him. The Connor Estate felt more like a luxury vacation resort. It had everything: private gardens, an open-air pool, a golf course, a riding ground. Basically, if you could think of a fancy way to chill, they had it. Please wait here for a moment, Mr. Bennett. We'll notify Miss Natalie. All right. After the gatekeeper got the green light from Natalie, they opened the gates. Miss Connor said you can go in. Oliver gave a polite nod and drove in. The whole road was lined with greenery, and gardeners were busy trimming the plants like they were working on a masterpiece. It didn't take long to reach the heart of the estate, where the main Connor family lived. Even from a distance, he saw Natalie standing gracefully by the musical fountain, dressed to the nines. Oliver parked the car, quickly composed himself, and smiled warmly before making his way toward her. Natalie! Chapter 86. Natalie Connor. Natalie Connor had just turned 24, the age where a girl's beauty is in full bloom. She stood tall and elegant, like a flower in full swing. To be fair, she inherited Second Madam's good looks. Her face was small and delicate, with a perfectly shaped jawline. Tall and slender, Natalie had been brought up with elite education and perfect manners, giving her a naturally classy vibe. That day, she was wearing the latest Chanel one-shoulder dress, showing off her pretty collarbones and those long, toned legs. If there was one flaw, it'd be her eyes. Growing up with everything handed to her, there was always a certain pride in her gaze, cold, sharp, a little overbearing even. Oliver Bennett's eyes flickered as he strode over to her. At first, Natalie's expression lit up, but then it was like something clicked in her mind. Her face instantly soured. Natalie. Oliver Bennett, come with me, now. Right in front of all the house staff, she gave him the cold shoulder. Oliver's jaw clenched. He wasn't happy at all. Still, thinking about the situation with his family, he held it in and followed her with a blank face. Natalie led Oliver into her bedroom. Her room screamed luxury, modern chic with high-end finishes. It was massive, over 100 square meters. Walls were lined with display cabinets holding the newest collections from all the top fashion brands. Some hadn't even hit stores yet. Clothes, heels, handbags, you name it. Once the door closed behind them, Oliver reached out from behind and gently held her shoulders. Natalie, what's going on with you? That's the question I should be asking you. Natalie shoved him hard. Caught off guard, Oliver stumbled a bit before regaining balance. Just as he steadied himself, she threw a thick file folder right at his face. He didn't even try to dodge it. His glasses flew off with the impact. Natalie's heart ached for a second seeing him like that, but then she glanced at the folder again, and her face twisted with anger. She pointed to the folder, screaming, "Look at what you've done!" The folder had burst open on impact, spilling out photos all over the floor. Every single one showed him with Lily Hudson in various close poses. Lily had her arm linked through his. Lily was leaning intimately on his shoulder. They were having dinner together, clearly cozy. Oliver's eyes narrowed slightly, but he said nothing. Natalie's fury boiled over as she pointed at him and yelled, "So this is how you treat me, huh? When you went to Lixon City, what did you say? You said it was for a business deal. You swore you'd come back as soon as it was done. I've been running to your house every single day looking for you, trying to find out how you're doing. And look at you, sneaking around with some other woman while I'm not there." Her voice cracked as her eyes reddened. "Tell me, in these 2 years, have I ever wronged you? I've been nothing but loyal to you. You said you hated me talking to guys, so I wiped out my contacts list, only hung out with girls. You said I was too proud, so I lowered myself and sucked up to your parents. My dad didn't like you, but I convinced him just so we could get engaged. I went through all that for you, and this is what I get. Oliver Bennett, does your conscience even exist? Does it hurt at all?" Oliver knelt down and silently picked up the photos one by one, scanning through every single one. He didn't rush to explain. After Natalie Connor finished venting, he just turned to her calmly and said, "So, you're this mad at me because of a few photos?" Natalie froze for a second. "Isn't that enough for me to get mad?" Oliver Bennett let out a dry chuckle, then, without saying anything else, gathered up the photos and stuffed them into the envelope, turning to leave. "Stop right there." Oliver paused for a moment, but then kept walking. "I said stop! You hear me?" Natalie yelled, furious and flustered. That's when Oliver finally stopped, though he didn't turn around. His voice was ice cold. "We've been engaged for 2 years. I thought you'd at least know what kind of person I am. Clearly not. If you can't even trust me this little bit, there's no way we'll be happy after getting married. So maybe we should just end this now." With that, he kept walking. Natalie froze. Break up? No way. She'd never, ever thought about breaking up with him. Watching as he was about to walk out of sight, she panicked and rushed after him, grabbing his arm desperately. "What's that supposed to mean? You better explain yourself." Her tone was still sharp, but her voice had clearly softened. Oliver's expression was still cold. "Didn't you just say you didn't trust me? Then what's the point of an explanation?" "I said I want to hear it. Now explain it already." He scoffed and pointed at Lily Hudson in the photo. "You know her, right? A minor actress, Sophia Williams' little sister, Lily Hudson?" Oliver nodded. "Yeah, that's her, and that's exactly why I met up with her." Sophia again. Natalie's eyes welled up, and she glared at him. "So you still can't let her go, huh?" "No." "What? 2 years ago? I'm the one who did her wrong. She was the one who walked away, so yeah, she probably hates me now. Natalie, I owe her. But if I tried to make it up to her directly, she'd never accept it. The only thing I can do is look out for her sister a bit. Lily's been around since the beginning, even back when I was with Sophia. She's always felt like a little sister to me. That's it. No other intentions." "Seriously?" "You can believe it or not," Oliver said flatly. "I've known Lily for years. If I ever had feelings for her, it would have happened long ago, not now." "Then, what about Sophia? Do you still love her?" "If I did, I wouldn't have proposed to you." Natalie's face lit up slightly, her chin tilted up as she looked at him. "So that means you love me now? You tell me." "I knew it. I knew deep down you still loved me." Natalie threw her arms around his waist, resting her head on his chest. "Oliver, I love you too. Don't worry, I'll talk to my dad soon. I'll make sure he agrees to our wedding." Oliver pushed her away without hesitation. "You're mad at me, aren't you?" He stayed silent, face still cold. "I'm sorry, okay? I shouldn't have lost my temper like that. But it's just, I care about you so much, I couldn't help getting jealous seeing you with another woman. Please don't be mad at me anymore. I promise I'll stop acting like this." She clung to him again, voice filled with grievance. All right, don't be angry anymore. I know why you came to find me today, and you can relax. I'll figure out a way to help with your family's business stuff. Chapter 87, a warning. Business problems? How did you know something's up with my family's company? Wait a sec. Oliver Bennett narrowed his eyes. You're not thinking I had something to do with it, are you? Natalie Connor snapped, frowning hard. Oliver, seriously? I've been missing you like crazy, but that doesn't mean I'd pull this kind of stunt just to get you back. She crossed her arms. I found out because I've been keeping tabs on anything related to you 24/7, unlike someone who barely seems to care about what's going on with me. Oliver's gaze softened. I'd never think that about you. Then why'd you look at me like that? I wasn't here about business. Then what for? He pulled her into a tight hug and whispered, I got held up in Lixon, but the second I got back and checked in with my dad, I came straight to see you. I missed you, Nat. That's it. His voice was low and warm, like a soft breeze brushing past, making Natalie's eyes sting with sudden emotion. Oliver, you don't need to worry about the company stuff, huh? She looked up, confused. He bent down, breath lightly grazing her cheek. Her face instantly flushed red, heart thudding. Then she felt his lips, barely there, press against her forehead before pulling away. He spoke softly. Other than my parents, you're the most important person in my life. You're going to be my wife, the person I treasure most. I want you to be happy, carefree under my wing, not weighed down by stuff like this. Tears welled up in Natalie's eyes again. Oliver. A rush of guilt and warmth filled her chest. She'd actually doubted him over a few stupid photos and even snapped at him. Sniffling, she asked, Is the company situation really tricky? Yeah, and I'll figure it out. Feeling the warmth from Oliver's embrace, Natalie made up her mind. No matter what, she'd ask her dad to help the Bennetts. Wow, this dinner looks amazing. Isla Flynn stared at the spread of seafood on the table, practically drooling. She reached out and grabbed a big shrimp, stuffing it in her mouth. So good. Tastes exactly like the stuff I had back in Australia, she mumbled. Aunt Sophia, you're seriously living the dream. I bet Uncle Nathaniel put all this together to celebrate you getting discharged. Or maybe it's to welcome you. Sophia Williams laughed. Isla pointed toward the kitchen. Nope, don't think so. You know I've been here 3 days, right? Uncle's done exactly 0 for me. The fridge has been empty and the pantry's just stocked with instant noodles. I've been living off those, and he even had the nerve to say instant noodles are cheap, fast, and perfect gourmet cuisine. Sophia blinked. Seriously? Oops. She was the one who cleared out the fridge. And those noodles? Yeah, she'd ordered a bunch when she ran low on cash, just in case she ran out of food. Nathaniel had always called instant noodles junk food. She sneaked a glance at him. His face was still calm as ever. So this whole feast really was for her? A wave of warmth flooded Sophia's chest. Her eyes sparkled. Come on, eat, Nathaniel said. Okay. Everyone sat down to eat together, and Isla Flynn just couldn't stop talking. Even while chewing, she kept going. This crab roe rice is insane. It's not even crab season right now. These fat crabs must have been flown in from Australia or something. So good. And look at this caviar. Aunt Sophia, seriously, just look. It's all plump and glossy, that golden shimmer. Top-tier stuff for sure. Caviar is my all-time favorite, but the better it is, the harder it is to get. Usually, Uncle Nathan won't even bother to get it for me, and now he suddenly pulled out a whole bunch. Oh my God, I gotta shut up and eat more. Sophia blinked. She genuinely didn't realize any of this food was that fancy. What caught her even more off guard was Ela herself. Just by the look of things, she could tell their origin and quality. After dinner, Ela wrapped her arm around Sophia's, begging sweetly to stay over. Sophia had taken a real liking to Isla, full of energy and charisma, and instantly said yes. Yes! You're the best! Ela jumped up in excitement. No. Nathan's voice came cold and firm. Uncle Lee! No amount of acting cute is going to change my mind. Ela's eyes rolled once, then she suddenly plopped to the floor, covering her face and wailing, Wah! Uncle, how could you do this? You already hog Aunt Sophia all the time. Can't I just have her for one night? It's so rare to meet someone I really click with. She reminds me so much of my mom, and I lost her so young. I'm just really pitiful, okay? Isla. Sophia looked at her with sympathy, then turned to Nathan. Nathan. He stared. Don't fall for it. She's faking. Faking? but she looked super upset just now. Wah! Isla cried even harder. Nathan, Sophia tugged at his sleeve, swaying it gently. Nathan bit the inside of his cheek. How was he supposed to say no to her like this? Fine, just for tonight. Sophia beamed instantly. Got it. Behind her, Isla, completely tearless, grinned toward Nathan and flashed him a cheeky victory yeah sign. Nathan said nothing. Later that night, Nathan was still buried in work. James walked in with a cup of coffee, chuckling. The young miss gets along really well with Mrs. Connor. Honestly, besides Grandma, she's never gotten this close to anyone else before. Nathan looked genuinely calm at the mention of the two. She dragged the madam upstairs just now. Let her be. Nathan's expression softened even more. Actually, Isla and Sophia were really alike. Isla talked a lot, seemed super easygoing, but wasn't the type to truly let people in. She got along with everyone, but none of them ever made it to her inner circle. Same thing with Sophia. She's been in Lixon City for 2 years and still hadn't formed any deep friendships. To be honest, they were both people who'd been hurt before, and that made them careful with everyone else. So it's pretty special they hit it off this well. Nathan felt relief. What's the update on the Bennett situation? Just like you predicted, Natalie went to her father, and he agreed to help the Bennetts. Not a surprise to Nathan. Mr. Connor doted on Natalie like no one else. Since they were kids, he pretty much said yes to anything she wanted. Sir, should we keep pressuring the Bennetts? No need. James was confused. Nathan said quietly, let Natalie earn the Bennett family's gratitude. Let Oliver see, there's only one woman he can count on, and that's Natalie. Chapter 88. Only Bossy with You. Middle of the night. Everything was dead quiet. Still asleep, Sophia suddenly felt herself being lifted off the bed. Startled, she opened her eyes and saw Nathaniel's face right in front of hers. Just as she was about to say something, he shushed her softly, then scooped her up and walked quietly out of the room. Sophia turned her head slightly. Yep, Isla was fast asleep, curled up like an octopus on the bed. Nathaniel carried Sophia out, careful not to make a sound. Nathaniel, Sophia whispered. Shh, don't talk. She couldn't help it and gave his arm a gentle pinch. What if Isla wakes up and finds me missing? She's not a kid, she'll be fine. That made Sophia want to laugh and sigh at the same time. Nathaniel carried her straight into his room. A small desk lamp was on, casting a warm glow over the space, softening the depth of night with its cozy light. Sit. He placed her gently on the edge of the bed. What are you up to? She asked, confused but curious. He walked over to the wardrobe, opened a door, pulled open a smaller drawer inside, then took out a neat little box. Sophia's heart skipped a beat. Nathaniel. It's for you, he said simply. She couldn't wait and opened the box. Just as she thought, a pair of matching platinum rings, simple design, just 2 plain bands engraved with fine, elegant patterns. The moment she saw them, she was sold. You like them? He asked with a smile. Sophia grinned and nodded. I thought if you ever bought rings, they'd be diamond ones or something flashy with gemstones. He sat down next to her. Couple days ago, I had a business trip to Linjiang, stepped into a mall and saw these. Liked them right away, so I bought them. But hey, if you want diamonds or gemstones, I can get one for you next time. No way, this is perfect, she said without a second thought. She picked up one of the rings and couldn't stop admiring it, turning it in her fingers. Almost without thinking, she started sliding it onto her finger. Nathaniel quickly caught her hand. Hey, what? He chuckled. You really aren't shy at all, huh? Who puts on their own wedding ring, especially girls? Okay, fair point. She just got carried away. Those rings were pretty damn nice. Sophia's cheeks turned pink with embarrassment. Nathaniel took the ring from her, then suddenly dropped to one knee in front of her, holding it up. Mrs. Connor, will you marry me? Sophia's nose tingled. There was a time she thought that she'd never get a proposal. Not in this life. When she and Nathaniel had gotten married, it was quick and quiet. No ceremony, no rings, no party. Just planning to have dinner with the families someday, and that'd be it. She never expected she'd have a proposal moment like this. What girl doesn't dream of having all these beautiful things? She sniffled softly, eyes starting to sting. Her mind drifted back to the day they met through that arranged date. Smiling, she asked, "Is that your way of proposing?" "Yes," he said without hesitation. "And what if I say no?" "Then I'll take it as a yes. he smirked. Sophia Williams can only be Mrs. Connor. She couldn't help laughing. You're so shameless. Only with you, he replied without missing a beat. Sophia felt like her heart was floating in the warmest bubble bath. It was that cozy and sweet. Tears shimmered in her eyes as she smiled and stretched out her hand. Well, since you already called me Mrs. Connor, how could I say no? Nathaniel laughed along with her. He gently lifted her left hand, slowly sliding the ring onto her ring finger. Her fingers were fair and slender, and with the ring on, there was a quiet elegance to them. The size fit just right. Nathaniel stared at her hand, but it felt like it wasn't just her finger being held. It was his heart. Mrs. Connor. Sophia couldn't stop staring at her hand, completely obsessed with the ring. She had never been into anything flashy. If someone handed her a diamond ring or some gem-studded thing, she wouldn't even dare wear it out. Mrs. Connor! Nathaniel raised his voice a little. Huh? Nathaniel let out a helpless laugh, putting the remaining men's ring in her hand and stating as if it were the most obvious thing in the world, "Your turn now." Oh, right. She totally forgot. She took the ring from the box and slid it onto Nathaniel's left ring finger, too. It was a simple act, but the atmosphere was full of meaning. When both of them were wearing their rings, they exchanged a smile that said more than words ever could, like their hearts were fully in sync. This feels really good, Sophia said softly, leaning her head on Nathaniel's shoulder and closing her eyes. Nathaniel, thank you. For what? For a lot of things. For putting up with me, doing so much for me, and most of all, for walking into my life in the first place. It was the first time Sophia had said something so heartfelt to Nathaniel. He clearly loved hearing it. He wrapped his arms around her and with his other hand pulled out a card from his pocket, pressing it into her palm. No turning it down this time. Sophia felt awkward. She could still remember how firmly she gave the card back that day. Now that it had made its way back to her, even her ears were turning red. She coughed lightly to hide her embarrassment. What's mine is yours. Spend it whenever you need, okay? Okay. No more breakup talk. Whatever it is, come to me first. Got it? Got it. And stop mentioning divorce altogether. My bad. Sophia lowered her head, feeling guilty. Nathaniel patted her head, his tone mock serious. Good, as long as you know. Don't mess up again. Sophia. Why did this feel like she was being scolded by a parent? She shook her head and quickly pushed that thought out of her mind. After putting on the rings, they cuddled up and fell asleep together. Everything felt so peaceful and just right. Until Sophia suddenly sprung up from bed, scaring the life out of Nathaniel. He was about to ask what was wrong when she yanked the ring off her finger, completely panicking. Nathaniel's face instantly darkened. Mrs. Connor! I just remembered. I have work tomorrow. And there are tons of people at the office, and they're all super sharp-eyed. If they catch us wearing matching rings, the whole relationship's gonna blow up. Nathaniel frowned. So what? He was always against hiding their marriage. Why did they have to act like they were sneaking around? They were a real married couple, after all. And it's not like he had anything to be embarrassed about. No way. If people at work find out we're together, there'll be so much drama. Let's not stir things up. Anyway, once your project's done, we're heading back to Linjiang soon. Not much time left here, so better to keep a low profile. Nathaniel. He watched as Sophia stashed the ring away, then flopped down and pulled the covers over his head. Going to sleep. Chapter 89, Homewrecker. You're mad, aren't you? I'm not. Yeah, right, she was totally mad. Sophia nudged his shoulder. Don't be like this. I promise, once we're back in Linjiang, I'll properly introduce you to my family and friends. How could I hide such an amazing husband? It's just, things are a bit complicated here. And honestly, none of these people matter that much. What did you just call me? Nathaniel pushed the blanket aside. Husband, her cheeks flushed. Focus on the real issue, will you? That was the real issue. Nathaniel looked so satisfied, like a smug cat who just stole a fish. He suddenly pulled her into his arms. Your explanation works for me. Time to sleep. Sophia woke up early just to make breakfast. She even minced the filling and kneaded the dough by hand to make dumplings, enough to cover the whole coffee table. By the time the others got up, the dumplings were already boiling. Auntie, morning! Good morning. Isla stumbled down the stairs, still half asleep, yawning as she held the handrail. You're already up and cooking? You just got over an illness. Why not just order from the hotel or something? Sophia felt a little awkward. Apparently, Isla had no idea she'd been gone the night before. Changing the subject quickly, Sophia said, I'm really fine now, and takeout takes time to arrive. Dumplings fresh out of the pot taste way better. Plus, hotel food is expensive. Expensive? Isla gave Sophia a huge thumbs up. Uncle is seriously lucky to have you. Most people would just blow money if they had it, but clearly her uncle's wife wasn't like that. Isla's impression of Sophia skyrocketed in that moment. Smells amazing. Go wash up and get ready to eat. I already did. Isla refused to leave the kitchen, circling around like a cat hypnotized by the smell, drooling just a little. They smell so good, I just know they're delicious. Sophia scooped some into a bowl for her. Isla grabbed it and rushed off like she was guarding treasure. Even while eating, she kept hyping it up. Wow, this is incredible. Shrimp with celery, and fish too. Auntie, how long did this take you? You like it? It's so good I could swallow my tongue with it. Sophia couldn't help but laugh. So dramatic. By the time Nathaniel and James emerged from washing up, Isla had already polished off 2 bowls. Sophia served each of them a dish. James took it, cheeks turning red as he looked down. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Huh? Back when you and the boss had that fight, I should have stayed neutral, tried to mediate. I shouldn't have given you a hard time with him. Seeing how sincere he looked, his fair face basically blushing, Sophia waved her hand. He's your boss. It's normal you'd side with him. Thanks for understanding. James let out a breath. But, he tensed up right away. Next time, get the full story before jumping to conclusions. James nodded like a chicken pecking rice. Yes, got it. Totally. Now go eat. On it. They ended up eating an entire pot of dumplings. It wasn't even enough. Sophia made another round just to satisfy everyone. After breakfast, it was time to head to work. Just like always, Sophia went out alone and hailed a cab. When she got to the office, most of the staff hadn't arrived yet. After clocking in, she headed straight to the editorial department she knew so well. A few young girls were already sitting there. Just as Sophia was about to greet them, they all exchanged looks, then suddenly scattered back to their desks and buried themselves in work. None of them made any move to respond to her. Sophia stood there, confused. Right. It wasn't until Chloe arrived that Sophia got some clarity. Wow, Chief Editor, finally back to work. We were all so worried when you were sick, but we had no idea which hospital you were in. We wanted to visit, but didn't know how to find you, and none of us dared to ask the CEO. Ask the CEO? Sophia's heart skipped a beat. Was her relationship with Nathaniel exposed? Chief Editor, do you know the CEO personally? Sophia froze for a second. Why are you asking that? Chloe leaned in closer and whispered, that day when you fainted in the CEO's office, it was him who carried you to the hospital himself. He looked seriously panicked. And you know how the CEO usually is, super cold and distant, especially with women. Secretary Luo once tried to get close to him and just got fired because she touched his arm. People at the office have been talking ever since. Sophia's face turned cold. Talking about what exactly? They're saying you passed out in the CEO's office on purpose, since you knew you were sick, just as a way to get close to him, like using it as an excuse to make physical contact. Seeing Sophia's glare sharpen, Chloe quickly held up her hand like she was swearing an oath. Chief Editor, I swear, I'm not part of that gossip at all. We've been working together for over 2 years. I know you'd never do something like that. Sophia took a deep breath, trying to calm the rising anger in her chest. She glanced around at those young women in the office, feeling completely let down. No wonder they were giving her the cold shoulder this morning. It was all because of some baseless rumor she was entangled with Nathaniel. These girls used to daydream about him all the time, and now that they heard she might have something going on with him, boom, they saw her as the enemy. What a joke. They'd worked together for over 2 years. Sure, she wasn't besties with them, but she'd always looked out for them when she could. And just like that, one piece of gossip, and they turned on her without a second thought. Chief Editor, I totally believe in your character, Chloe said, grabbing her hand with a frustrated sigh. Seriously, I don't get what's going on with those girls. It's like they all got kicked in the head or something. Even without this rumor, do they honestly think they've got a shot with the CEO? I mean, even someone as glamorous as Secretary Luo didn't catch his eye. What makes them think they stand a chance? Enough, Chloe, Sophia said, clearly annoyed. I'm just mad for you. Those girls are way out of line. Sophia let out a sigh. Let them think whatever they want. The morning passed quickly, but lunchtime really drove it home just how bad things had gotten. The male coworkers looked at her like they couldn't wait to see what happened next, while the females stared with pure venom in their eyes. She turned down Nathaniel's invite to lunch and headed downstairs with Chloe instead. As always, the place was full of colleagues. Just her luck, Sophia ran right into Emma. She instinctively tried to turn the other way. But Emma wasn't about to let her go that easily. She grabbed Sophia's wrist sharply. Well, look who it is, the company's famous man-stealer. What's the matter? Why are you slinking away like a mouse who just saw the cat? Off to find our CEO again, huh? Chapter 90, Because She's My Wife. Let go of me. Make me. Emma Mitchell raised her voice on purpose, eyes full of contempt. Shh. Back when you turned down Lucas Carter, I really thought you had some standards. Turns out, it's just because he doesn't match your taste. Now that a handsome and rich CEO shows up, you're throwing yourself at him faster than a starving dog on meat. People used to say your blind dates sucked, 'cause the guys were weirdos. Looks like it was just you looking down on everyone and spinning the story your way. She smirked like she'd uncovered Sophia Williams's biggest secret. Sophia, you're really something, hiding all this so well. Everyone in the cafeteria started whispering and pointing at them. Emma wasn't done yet. Her voice turned sharper. Emma, stop with the nonsense. It's not like that at all. Our editor-in-chief would never chase after the CEO, okay? Chloe Carter stepped in, visibly upset. Emma pushed her aside with a sneer. Oh, please, what do you know, you little sidekick? All you do is kiss up to your boss. Do you even know the real her? Ever dig into her shiny so-called history? Thought not. Shut your mouth, Chloe snapped, her face bright red. I don't care what you say. Our editor-in-chief is not some homewrecker. And what do you call someone who's constantly trying to seduce men? That day the two companies came to negotiate. Didn't she first try flirting with Oliver Bennett? Then poof, Nathaniel Connor walks in and bam, new target acquired. Real quick to switch gears, huh? Good thing Mr. Connor's got a good head on his shoulders and didn't fall for it. Let go of me. Not a chance. Sophia yanked her arm free from Emma with a quick, strong twist, nearly sending her stumbling. Sophia Williams, no need to yell, I can hear just fine. You're shameless. Don't touch me. Your hands are filthy. Emma was breathing hard out of sheer anger, especially seeing how calm Sophia stayed. That only made her explode more. She jabbed a finger toward Sophia's face. Filthy, look who's talking. Sophia, the last time we bumped to President Mason, I stayed quiet. But you know exactly what kind of person you are. A used-up has-been who got dumped at the altar in front of everyone. You think if you don't talk about it, people will just forget? What a joke. Gasps swept through the cafeteria. Holy crap, for real? She got left on her wedding day? That's savage. Maybe Emma's telling the truth. No decent guy would do that unless the girl wasn't worth it. Right? There's no smoke without fire. Emma might be a pain, but if Sophia didn't do anything shady, no one would have ammo against her. She looks so pretty. Who would have thought she's such a mess underneath? The gossip was coming in hot, ugly, and relentless. Editor, Sophia gently patted Chloe's shoulder. Don't worry about it. If you're clean, shadows won't scare you. But forget what they say. Their opinions don't matter. If she had cared about what people thought, she would have broken down 2 years ago. Wow, Sophia Williams, you're honestly pathetic, Emma said with a pitying shake of her head. You had looks and maybe a decent shot at happiness. But now, she held up both hands. It's all gone. Emma, you're just jealous of me, aren't you? Are you freaking kidding me? Emma Mitchell exploded, eyes wide with fury. Why would I be jealous of you? Give me one good reason. Lucas Carter already saw through your act, and our CEO is married now. Oh, right. You probably don't know yet. He showed up at work today wearing a wedding ring. Crazy, right? You were just flirting with him days ago, and today he's suddenly married. Wonder why that is. Well, Emma was probably the only clueless one here. Sophia Williams leaned against the bar behind her, watching Emma with a half smile like she was genuinely amused. I really don't know. Care to explain it to me? Isn't it obvious? He's trying to make it clear he's taken. That way someone like you, who's dreaming of becoming his little side piece, can take a hint and back off. Pfft, Emma snapped. What the hell are you laughing at? You've really got a wild imagination. You've got to be kidding me, Sophia. Stop pretending nothing's wrong. I'm seriously sick of your fake attitude. Those stupid rumors going around, that's your handiwork, isn't it? Emma scoffed. No idea what you're talking about. That's low. Oh, I'm low? Emma was already boiling and had clearly made up her mind. She was going to put Sophia in her place today. As long as she existed in this office, there was no room for Sophia. She glanced around at the curious onlookers and raised her voice. You think I'm low? Fine. Then why don't you explain everything? Clear your name if you can. First, what happened on my wedding day is nobody's business but mine, and I'll say it again, keep your nose out of my life. Ugh. Sophia wasn't done. Second, thank God I didn't end up with Lucas Carter. That guy's disgusting. What did you just say? Emma was livid. Who the hell do you think you are, talking about him like that? Who gave her the right? Sophia looked toward Lucas, who was also in the cafeteria. The moment their eyes met, he turned away, looking guilty. Sophia let out a cold laugh. Lucas really had no shame. Everyone in the company knew Emma crushed on him. Yet even before Nathaniel Connor's acquisition, when Lucas already knew about her relationship with the CEO, he kept quiet and let Emma stir things up. Or worse. Maybe he pushed Emma into doing it. He knew better than to mess with Nathaniel's girlfriend directly. But Emma? She didn't know a thing. She was head over heels for him, so she was the perfect puppet. Sophia gave Emma a long look, voice calm but cutting. Try using your brain before your temper next time. You might not even realize you're being played like a fiddle. Emma hated anyone speaking badly about Lucas. She lunged forward, aiming for a handful of Sophia's hair. But Sophia wasn't stupid. She ducked to the side just in time. Chloe Carter rushed in to block her. Emma, get a grip. Get out of my way. She just insulted my man. I'm not letting this slide. Sophia couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for her. No wonder people say the pitiful ones often bring it on themselves. With her arms crossed, she watched the furious Emma with a mix of pity and boredom. Let me answer your last question now. Emma's eyes burned red as she glared at her. Sophia glanced at the crowd. Everyone was waiting. She gave them a small nod and said, I have no reason to seduce Nathaniel Connor. Why not? Because Sophia is my wife. Chapter 91, no one gets to bully her, not even me. Because Sophia is my wife. Sophia froze. She hadn't even noticed Nathaniel standing there at the restaurant entrance, James Reed right behind him. No idea how long they'd been standing there, but Nathaniel's expression was serious, and his presence practically froze the room. As he walked closer, the whole place went dead silent. Everyone was still reeling from what he'd just said, staring blankly as Nathaniel approached. He walked straight over to Sophia and, without skipping a beat, wrapped his arm around her waist like he was staking his claim. Nathaniel, it's okay. I'll handle this. Sophia gave a small smile and decided to just let him take over. The way they stood together, so close and familiar, finally snapped the crowd out of their shock. The room exploded with chatter. Wait, did I hear that right? What did the CEO just say? I heard it too. He said Sophia is his wife. No way. I thought I was hearing things too. If that's true, then all those rumors are just a joke now. Everyone had assumed Nathaniel wore that ring just to keep women like Sophia away, ambitious types trying to climb the ladder. Thinking she was the classic homewrecker, they'd look down on her with smug disdain. But turns out, they were already married. No wonder Sophia had always denied seducing him. There was zero need for that. She wasn't some mistress trying to sneak in. She was legit, and even if they flirted, it's their own business. They're married. End of story. Sir, what did you just say? Emma Mitchell's voice was shaky, full of disbelief. Do I need to say it again? Nathaniel's voice dropped cold as he scanned the room, eyes sharp. My wife just prefers to stay low-key. That's why our marriage was never public. But I never thought her choice to stay out of the spotlight would be turned into ammo for others to attack her. Emma was stunned, and so was Lucas Carter. He only knew they were dating, had no clue they were married. Editor, Chloe Carter looked just as floored. Sophia sighed. I'll fill you in once we're back at the office. Chloe just nodded blankly. Now that Nathaniel had gone public, Sophia realized there wasn't much point in keeping it under wraps anymore. But one question still lingered in her mind. Did Nathaniel hear that bit Emma said about her being left at the altar? She sneaked a look at him. Same unreadable face as always, but there was something colder in his eyes, more intense than usual. Great. That didn't give her any answers. Sir, please. Emma tried again, desperation creeping in her voice. Nathaniel didn't even look at her. James? Yes, sir? Have this woman collect her final paycheck from HR. Then he turned his icy gaze to Emma. Starting this afternoon, you're no longer employed here. Emma's eyes widened in shock. Sir, you can't just fire me. She instinctively reached out to grab him, but then stopped herself. She remembered the stories about how Nathaniel never allowed physical contact with women. Quickly, she dropped her hand. You can't do this. I'm good at my job. I've done nothing wrong. I don't deserve to be fired. We don't keep anyone who spreads nasty rumors. Sophia felt it was getting too harsh. She tugged softly at Nathaniel's sleeve, whispering, Nathaniel. He laced his fingers through hers, his grip firm, his eyes unwavering. Sophia sighed. Fine. Not her fight anymore. Emma Mitchell dragged her personal grudge into the workplace. That alone was totally crossing the line. Honestly, Nathaniel Connor firing her wasn't harsh at all. Sir, don't be fooled by this woman's looks. She's been married before. Her groom ditched her right at the altar. She's nothing but a homewrecker. You can't let her fool you. Sophia Williams froze and instinctively turned to look at Nathaniel. His eyes were chilling. James. Yes, sir. Send word to all our subsidiaries. I never want to hear her name in this industry again. Understood. James Reed silently paid respects for Emma in his head. Of all people to mess with, she picked the boss's favorite person? Big mistake. He still remembered how, during their Cold War, just for giving Sophia a bit of attitude, the boss slammed him with 10 times his regular workload. What was coming for Emma now? Definitely worse. Ever since Connor Innovations took over Shang-Chi, they'd basically dominated the web novel world. Getting blacklisted here meant total career ruin. No site would dare hire her again. Unless Emma switched industries completely, she was 100% done here. No! Please, no! Emma's sobs broke out. Sir, everything I said is true. I didn't make anything up. Sophia is bad news. Why else would anyone abandon her at her wedding? Please go check for yourself. I've been with Shang-Chi since I graduated. It's all I know how to do. I can't lose this job. Lixin City was still growing. Even then, high-paying, easy gigs were few and far between. At Shang-Chi, she had it all. Great pay, good benefits. And she wasn't exactly young anymore. Starting over somewhere new? Pretty much impossible. Sir, please, your future is none of my business. Nathaniel squeezed Sophia's hand and looked around before saying, and for the record, even if what you said was true, even if she was abandoned at the altar, then that man was a complete fool. Only an idiot would toss away a diamond thinking it's a rock. Losing her was his mistake. My gain. Sophia was stunned to the core. Tears welled up in her eyes. Nathaniel, silly girl, what are you crying for? I'm just touched. He curved his lips into a rare, subtle smile. Everyone around, oh my God, the boss actually smiled. I've never seen him smile before. He's only cold to everyone else, clearly soft around the one he loves. Ugh, that's so attractive. If I could find a guy who treats me like that, I'd marry him even if he had nothing. Seriously, right? No wonder he was so anxious the day Editor Williams passed out. I mean, he carried her straight to the hospital. Looking back now, that's some serious love right there. We really were blind. Look at how he gazes at her. It's all there in his eyes. Unlike the crowd's excitement, Emma felt completely empty inside. It was over. That was all her brain could process, just those 2 words. Sophia Williams, always Sophia. Why was she always standing in her way, always making things difficult? Emma stared at her with hatred. Why? Why did this woman always get all the good stuff? And right then, Nathaniel wrapped his arm around Sophia and said firmly to everyone, let me make this clear. This is my wife, Sophia Williams, and no one, absolutely no one, gets to mess with her. Not even me. Chapter 92. You don't like Nathaniel, do you? My wife is off limits. That includes me too. Nathaniel Connor didn't care how dramatic that sounded to everyone else. He just casually wrapped his arm around Sophia Williams' waist and strolled out of the restaurant like he owned the place. As soon as the door shut behind them, the restaurant, which had just been stunned into silence, went full-blown gossip central. No one even cared about their lunch anymore. It was all Nathaniel and Sophia now. What do? I already liked the CEO, and now I like him even more. So what if he's married? He's so loyal, it's killing me. Major hard eyes moment. Sophia is seriously blessed. Blessed, please. You think she got his attention for no reason? She must be amazing. Our CEO is no fool. If she were really as awful as someone's been saying, do you think he'd be into her? Obviously, that gossip was just pure jealousy. The girl shot a cold glance at Emma Mitchell. Everyone started nodding in agreement. Totally. Sophia's been working here for years. We all know her. With her looks, she could have easily found someone if she wanted. She didn't need to wait until now. And have you noticed how low-key she is? Even when there were rumors flying around about her, she kept quiet. Didn't make a scene, didn't call anyone out. That kind of grace? Rare. Sophia had her arm linked through Nathaniel's, laughing nonstop the whole way. Hey, why are you so happy? He asked. She nodded like crazy. Once they got in the car and it started moving, she glanced to make sure James Reed wasn't looking and then wrapped her arms around Nathaniel's neck, planting a loud kiss on his cheek. That's your reward. Nathaniel touched his face and raised an eyebrow. That's it? What, you want more? Without hesitation, he tapped his lips. She rolled her eyes. Seriously? Still, when James was focused on driving, she leaned in and gave Nathaniel the quickest peck on the lips, then immediately sat upright like nothing happened. Straight-backed and all proper, but those pink ears totally gave her away. Nathaniel smirked and gently pulled her down to rest her head on his thigh. You woke up early today. Get some rest. It was cool in the car, just the right temp. His legs were solid and actually made a pretty nice pillow. Sophia lay on her side and looked up at him. How come you showed up at the restaurant? She asked. As far as she knew, he never ate downstairs with the staff, just passing by. She squinted at him suspiciously. James, spill. Well, the boss heard some ugly rumors going around early this morning. He was worried someone was trying to stir stuff up to hurt Mrs. Connor, so he kept an eye on things. He figured break rooms, bathrooms, lunchtime, those are prime hours for gossip, right? He thought if he showed up, they wouldn't dare say anything. And well, that's when he saw you arguing with Emma. Sophia felt a warm, fuzzy swirl in her chest. She gave his thigh a playful nudge with her cheek. She had guessed it. He did come to back her up. Nathaniel, you're kinda amazing. I'm supposed to be good to you. Huh? She blinked, looking up at him, eyes wide. Nathaniel chuckled and said, This way you won't think about leaving me again. Sophia fell silent. Seriously? So petty. She'd only said they should break up once. Okay, maybe mentioned divorce once too. But come on, did he really have to hold on to that? Fuming, Sophia shut her eyes and ignored him. Mrs. Connor. What? If I hadn't shown up today. If you hadn't, I'd have handled it just fine, thank you very much. It's just Emma we're talking about. I've been around long enough to not get pushed around so easily. If she wanted to make things hard for me, I wasn't going to let her off easy either. Watching her bare her teeth like a small, angry beast, Nathaniel couldn't help but laugh and gently ruffle her hair. This lively side of Sophia, he loved it. It reminded him of how she used to be 10 years ago, all bright smiles, unfiltered tears, and full-on passion for life. After lunch, for once they didn't have to park somewhere out of sight. They walked into the office building openly, no sneaking around. Nathaniel took James up to the CEO's office, while Sophia headed for the editorial department on her own. Right off the bat, she noticed people acting differently around her. Editor Williams, good afternoon. Editor Williams, wow, back already from lunch? The beaming faces felt almost overwhelming to Sophia. It wasn't just staff from other departments. Even the operations team, who'd usually taken cues from Emma and acted aloof, were suddenly all warm and friendly. Editor Williams, those 2 authors you pitched, they got approved. Promotion starts in a couple days, so tell their teams to prep enough chapters. Got it, thanks. Sophia couldn't help but sigh. Being the CEO's wife really had its perks. When she stepped into the editorial department, most of the team were already back. They were crowded together chatting, but the moment she entered, they froze and spun toward her like they'd been caught doing something wrong. Editor-in-Chief. What's going on? She asked, walking to her desk, looking unbothered as ever. Everyone exchanged nervous looks, then ended up nudging Chloe forward. Editor-in-Chief, they just wanted to say what happened earlier today wasn't meant to hurt you. They only listened to the rumors because they were misled. Sophia gave a small nod. Got it. Then she turned back to her computer, clearly done with the conversation. The rest grew more anxious at her cool reaction and rushed up. Editor-in-Chief, we're so sorry. We didn't do it on purpose. Yeah, Emma was so convincing. We really believed her. We feel awful, really. Please don't be mad at us. Sophia took a deep breath. She didn't care what other departments thought, but this was different. These were the people she worked with every day. Yet they hadn't trusted her. They had believed some baseless gossip instead. Flirting? Did they really believe she was that kind of person? Letting out a disappointed sigh, Sophia waved her hand and said, I'm not mad. Maybe it was her own fault, not being good enough at dealing with people. Otherwise, would she have ended up so misunderstood? All right, enough. Back to work. Okay. Everyone quickly dispersed. When the others had left, Chloe hesitated a bit before walking up to Sophia. Editor-in-Chief, are you and the CEO really married? Sophia had always liked Chloe. When everyone else doubted her, Chloe was the only one who never did. She nodded. Yeah, we're really married. Just as she confirmed it, she noticed a subtle shift in Chloe's expression. What? Don't tell me you've got a thing for Nathaniel too? Chapter 93, Fearless, End. Chloe Carter quickly waved her hands. No way. Absolutely not. I wouldn't dare, even if you gave me 8 lives. I like the gentle, quiet type, okay? Sophia Williams remembered how Chloe had practically sparkled when she saw Oliver Bennett earlier. A little smirk crept onto her face despite herself. People had gossiped a bit about Sophia being the CEO's wife, but after the initial excitement, the office got back to business as usual. Editor, want a coffee? Thanks. Sophia handed her cup over and Chloe grinned, walking off toward the break room. Since their desks were next to each other, Sophia noticed right away when Chloe's phone started ringing. She glanced at the screen, and the moment she saw that familiar number, her whole body stiffened. She knew that number all too well. Oliver Bennett. Wait, why was Oliver calling Chloe? With her heart pounding, Sophia bit her lip, reached over, and picked up Chloe's phone. Almost like something pulled her to do it, she hit the answer button. Before she could even say anything, Oliver's voice came through. You weren't kidding earlier, right? Sophia really got married? And to someone in your company? Nathaniel Connor? Sophia's fingers clenched around the phone. She stayed silent, lips pressed into a tight line. Say something. Oliver suddenly snapped. Chloe, what the hell is going on? What's really happening? You want the truth. Oliver paused, then finally in a low voice asked, Sophia? It's me. You really married Nathaniel Connor? I told you before I'm married, Sophia said coldly. Now tell me, what's going on between you and Chloe? Seconds ticked by with no reply. Sophia, I've heard enough. Oliver, you seriously make me sick. She hit the end call button hard. Right in that moment, Chloe walked back in and saw Sophia hanging up. Her stomach dropped. Editor. Sophia stared at her like she hardly recognized the person in front of her. Chloe panicked. Editor. Without a word, just a cold glance, Sophia handed the phone back and turned away. She couldn't focus for the rest of the day. Her mind was a chaotic mess. Suddenly, all those confusing things made perfect sense. No wonder. Chloe, who's from Linjiang, somehow ended up working all the way in Lixin? No wonder. That weird coincidence when they randomly ran into Oliver while shopping? No wonder. Chloe's paycheck didn't match her high-end shopping habits? No wonder. Emma Mitchell somehow knew those things from 2 years ago? No wonder. Oliver seemed to know everything going on in her life in Lixin? Sophia's eyes turned red. Ha! And here she thought she'd actually made a real friend in Lixin. Turns out this friend had an agenda all along. After work. Editor, wait, please. With the office cleared out, Chloe rushed after Sophia. Just give me a chance to explain. Sophia stopped in her tracks. The facts are right there. What else is left to say? Chloe hurried in front of her, eyes full of regret. Yes, I admit it, Oliver sent me. But I swear I never meant to hurt you. I really saw you as a friend over these past 2 years. You call it friendship? Then why tell Emma about my past? Chloe was stunned into silence. Seeing her reaction, Sophia Williams knew she'd hit the nail on the head. Her heart sank instantly. You should have gone into acting. What a waste of talent. So every time Chloe Carter stood up for her in front of Emma Mitchell, it was all just for show? They'd been working together from the start. Chief Editor, save it. I've got nothing more to say to you. Go tell Oliver Bennett this. My life has nothing to do with him. He needs to stay the hell away from me. Chief Editor, Mr. Bennett really does care about you. Care? Sophia's lips curled into a cold sneer. Not wanting to hear another word, she turned and walked off without looking back. What's wrong? You look awful. Now that everything was out in the open, Nathaniel Connor no longer had to sneak around just to walk with her. He was waiting by the car park downstairs when he saw her coming over, eyes red. His gaze darkened. Who upset you? No one, she whispered. Resting her head on his shoulder, Sophia closed her eyes. Nathaniel, I'm really tired. She felt like such a failure. Everyone around her had been lying to her, stabbing her in the back. Sophia, Nathaniel gently held her hand, his worry written all over his face. The pressure in her chest hurt. The familiar scent of camellia on him made her tears fall without warning. Nathaniel, I want to quit. Let's go back to Linjiang City. I don't want to stay here anymore. Nathaniel blinked. What brought this on? She used to be totally against the idea of going back. What happened? Sophia told him everything about Chloe Carter. A bitter smile tugged at her lips. I still can't believe she was working for Oliver Bennett this whole time. I thought if I stayed low in Lixon City, I could put all that behind me. Turns out I was so wrong. People are the same wherever you go. If they don't want to leave me alone, I'll never truly get peace. So I might as well just go back. I can't spend my whole life running away. Nathaniel pulled her into a hug, heart aching for her. Okay, whatever you want. In truth, he'd already wrapped up his work here. He'd just been waiting until she was ready to leave on her own. This timing was perfect. What about work handover and all that? I'll have James Reed take care of it. Don't worry about it. I'm bringing someone from innovation to take over as chief editor. Sophia had always trusted him. She just nodded and didn't ask further. Once they got home, they talked it over and decided to leave for Linjiang City the very next day. So soon? I want to see Grandma. Nathaniel nodded. All right, then we go tomorrow. Sophia started packing. Nathaniel had bought her lots of things over their time here. Looking at all the stuff in the room made her head hurt a little. I'll just bring some basics. We can buy new stuff once we're back. Got it. She packed just some essentials for both of them. That night, the two of them held each other close as they slept. Sophia couldn't fall asleep, her mind spinning with thoughts of returning to Linjiang City. Nathaniel gently patted her shoulder. Try to sleep. Don't worry. I've got everything covered. She snuggled into his arms, feeling the anxiety start to melt away. Did you get the tickets? James is handling it. It's all set. Okay. Sophia nodded. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness about going back, but there was no fear. None at all. Because she knew going back meant a new beginning. And with Nathaniel by her side, she had nothing to be afraid of.